7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
The Savachi syndrome, I'm telling you, I'm like, well, holy shit, that was crazy. Wait for it. Thick and slick. Yo, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Moto Aftermath Show. This is episode number 168. We just wrapped up a solid 2.5-hour show with the one and only Coach Robb on here again. We talked a bit of silly season rumors because they have been flying all over the place. People going to different teams than anticipated, everything in between, where these chess pieces are going to land here as we continue through the rest of 2021. And then we rounded off the show with about a 2-hour conversation about the 250 outdoor preview, covering all the teams, covering some of the outliers who aren't on the major teams, and just basically going through our picks and how we thought people were going to do. Had Cole and Justin in studio with me, so that was awesome. Before we get started in that, just want to thank our sponsors. So first off, our newest sponsor of the show, presenting sponsor, BC.Pizza. Make sure to look them up. I believe the website is BC.Pizza. The local branch here, the Plainwell, Michigan branch, is sponsoring us. So if you guys are in the Plainwell, Michigan, Otsego, Michigan, Allegan, Michigan, Kalamazoo, Michigan area, make sure to check them out. BC Pizza with the Pizza Patrol there. Links in the description below, obviously, as always. Also want to thank TLR Coatings, been on board with us. Custom powder coating, Cerakoting, sandblasting, vapor blasting, and everything in between. TLRcoatings.com, and follow them on social media. Lots of new pics on Instagram all the time. Also want to thank Premier Custom Trailers. Do you need a trailer, commercial or residential? Premier Custom Trailers has what you need. They work with the best manufacturers in the industry and specialize in all your trailer's needs. Sales, service, parts, or rentals, they do it all. PremierCustomTrailers.com. Located 5 minutes south of Kalamazoo on US 131 in Schoolcraft, Michigan. They put the custom in customer service. They'll be hooking us up with a trailer here for me to be able to take the fam to the races soon. So I'm getting on that the next month here. So that'll be nice. Also on board with us, JT Cycle and the Dirt Bike Depot. Again, helping us out with some prizes for the fantasy show, helping us out with getting some stuff for the main show and for some of the other YouTube videos. So thanks to them. Make sure to look them up. Again, links in the description below. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below with your thoughts on everything we're saying in the video here. Especially hitting that like button really helps us out. If you're listening on the podcast, make sure to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Again, you can find us Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and SoundCloud. We're all over the place there. Just look us up, Moto Aftermath Show. Make sure to follow us on all the major social media networks. Again, we are looking for a TikTok person to run a TikTok for the Moto Aftermath Show. Excuse me. And so I have had one person reach out. I haven't been on my phone all day, so I haven't really talked to him. So anyway, I'll get on that. But again, if you are you want to be a part of something that is growing here and help make us bigger, we're looking for TikTok. We're looking for content creators. We're looking for all sorts of stuff like that. So if you have some of those skills, you want to have some of those skills, let us know. Again, always looking for help. We don't pay much, but nice crisp high fives are always fun. And yeah, so also make sure to check out the fantasy podcast. Me and Cole are slacking, so we haven't recorded oh my God, this intro is terrible. We haven't recorded a Supercross fantasy wrap-up show yet. We have been in contact with most of the winners there, so guys, we're getting your prizes out to you here, or whatever we're doing with you. We've been talking, and and then we will be going outdoors also for fantasy motocross, and we'll do that podcast. And I think Justin's going to be on that one with us because he's back into playing. So thanks again, everyone, for listening week in and week out. Thanks for watching on YouTube if you do that. And here we go. Show 168. Myself, Coach Robb, Justin, and Cole. 250 Outdoor Preview. Thanks for the extra clap there, Cole. All right, everyone. Now, as promised, on the line with us here to talk some silly season stuff and then to break into our 250 Outdoor Preview, we have, once again, Coach Robb. Coach Robb, what's going on tonight, man? How you doing?
Hey, good evening, guys. Thanks so much for having me. It's nice to be amongst the three gurus of the sport.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Not afraid to spill the beans. No, it's seriously, it's refreshing because you guys, you get your information, ask a lot of questions, rub a few people raw, rub a few people right. And hey, that's what makes this world go around. So I love it. I appreciate the opportunity to be back. Much appreciated.
Well, we model ourselves after the number one moto podcast in the world there, which would be Cooksey and the Coach. And then the number one YouTube channel there, old Johnny Hopper. We just model ourselves after that stuff, and boom, we're in it. So
what are you trying to take Hopper's channel and Cooksey and the Coach and make a baby?
No, actually, I'm gonna try to get Hopper on at some point. I'm sure he'll come on and talk. He probably he has no fear like us. He'll say whatever the fuck he wants to, which I think is great. Have you been watching his videos? His videos have been awesome.
Yeah, his videos are great.
I haven't really watched any, no.
I got a heart from him the other day on a YouTube comment because it was about, actually we'll break right into this, it was about Plessinger going to KTM, and I commented and said it's the worst fucking move he can make in his career.
You think?
And I got a heart. Yeah.
Cody, like going to Yamaha weed whackers.
Yeah, that was funny. I think Plessinger going to KTM is a terrible. I think it's career suicide here, honestly.
Well,
we've seen he doesn't do suit and tie well.
Yeah, me and Travis kind of talked about this on the last show, the wrap up, because
if you'd have answered your phone, you would know this, Cole.
See, me and Travis kind of differ on this, but I agree with where his idea of why that, because he doesn't suit and tie. Like, he thinks that Roger and Ian are going to kind of take away AP7, and he's going to have to be Aaron Plessinger. Whereas I think that if they let him be a little bit relaxed, because let's be real, Roger and Ian have been around for a very long time. They've dealt with, not lately, but like at least Roger, like he dealt with some pretty crazy people back in the 90s. If they let him be AP7, we know the bike is proven. We know the bike's good. I think it'll fit his style. But Travis just thinks that they're not going to let him do that, and he's going to go back to being, I'm pissed off all the time. I don't get to be the Dale Earnhardt Jr. mustache and the wild hair. And that's where Travis thinks that it's not going to work for
He's
AP.
not doing it for Dale on KTM.
I agree with that, but who is the last guy that KTM's really had that's been a little more wild like AP that you can think of?
Dino?
Dungy, pretty straight edge.
No.
Marv, pretty straight edge guy. Mm-hmm. Coop?
Justin Hill?
I mean, Justin Hill was hurt half the time.
Yeah.
What about Dino?
No, because Dino, he wasn't there.
He never really even rode enough to show.
And he didn't have the YouTube channel going then, so his attitude was a little different. I mean,
right.
I think you would have to go back to Nate
wrong.
Ramsey.
It's YouTube.
I said YouTube?
YouTube. That's how he says it.
YouTube?
YouTube.
Nate Ramsey. You'd have to go probably back to Nate Ramsey.
Jesus
when he was
more of a wild guy.
Yeah, Nate. Well, I mean, his nickname was Nate Dogg.
You look at Coop, though, and Coop, he can still kind of be Cooper, but when they need to pull the leash back, they'll pull it back. If they can find that right balance with Aaron, I think he'll be fine.
I don't know. Coach, what do you think?
I would say that everything that you guys said was correct, and it's going to be this typical, if AP comes out and starts winning everything, I don't think it'll happen, but let's say he does, just for the sake of conversation, he can do whatever the hell he wants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen it over and over again, whether it was McGrath or Emig or anybody else. When you're at the top of that spear, you pretty much can drive the ship however you want. Now, I do agree, Roger, he does tend to be a little bit more corporate. He tends to be a little bit more squared. But, going back all the way to when Jeremy McGrath and that last hurrah with KTM, I know Roger wasn't there at the time, but I hate to say it, but these teams let these guys pretty much, when they're winning everything, and do whatever they want. It's when they start having a couple hits in their notch where now they're at second or third or fifth, that's when you're going to see them start to really sit down, like you said, start taking away the personality of Plessinger because, hey, look, you're not producing results. Now we're going to sit hard on you. You're getting the results. You can do whatever the hell you want. So I think it could go either way. I know that's kind of an obvious statement, but the only thing that's going to really time itself is going to play it out. Because if he does come out swinging, I mean, let's face it, if we look at the pattern that Plessinger's on, if you go from who won the 250 championship for Yamaha 250, go to Yamaha 450 that didn't perform, Barsha, Webb, now Ferrandis. There's a laundry list of guys that won on the 250 that went to 450 and couldn't make anything happen. So where did Webb go? He went over to KTM, pretty solid results. And so it's pretty hard to argue the fact that if you couldn't wrestle down the Yamaha, the KTM is going to be a little bit easier to tame. We know the power plant is there, and suspension is there, R&D is there. Now, are they going to squash that personality? I personally, this is no dig on Plessinger or anybody else, I have a really, really hard time with this bullshit about, well, I'm not having fun. Well, you know what? It's a job. It's not supposed to always be fun. It's a fucking job. Do your job.
Oh, I agree.
I have such a problem with that. In my opinion, my biased opinion, real champions lean into the idea that it's not always fun, and they embrace that and go, hey, this is part of the job. I'm going to enjoy the money and the financial independence and the travel and all those that come with it. But I don't know anybody that's a welder that's going to look in the eyes and tell you he loves his job every single day. He may be passionate about it, he may be good at it, but there's just going to be days it's hard. And I get really fed up with these guys. Well, I'm not having any fun anymore. You're fucking racing a dirt bike for a living. Get over it.
Yeah, I mean,
just learn to take the good with the bad, man. Come on.
I think it's also going to be good for Aaron though, because he's going to be back with Coop. I mean, him and Coop,
yeah,
they're friends. Like, I don't know about what his relationship with Marvin is, but like him and Coop are friends. And I'm not saying that the people that
Aaron, him and Marv don't get along. Do we need to get some pictures of them spotting each other in the gym? Because they're fine.
Well, I'm saying I don't know. I'm just
nothing's wrong.
Okay. All right. So my point is that I don't really know in the last couple of years, like the people that Aaron's been riding with at Yamaha, like if he's been necessarily friends with them. I wouldn't say that he had beef, but I don't think him and Barsha were necessarily close. I know he was riding at his house, but not like him and Coop. I don't know about on the current team who he was buddies with, but him and Coop are actual friends, and I think that that's also going to help him adjust to being at KTM, But I also agree with what Coach is saying. Like, you get to ride a fucking dirt bike for a living. Like, really? I understand there's pressures with it, but it's a job. You're getting paid millions of dollars to ride a dirt bike for a living. There's a lot worse things you could be doing that you could be pissed off about.
Yeah, and this is where I get on my soapbox on. I just vehemently disagree of paying these guys a shitload of money. Even at the 450 level, I think everybody should emulate Mitch's model. Get a nice base salary. Every time you win, you make a shitload of money. Because you just don't see, I hate to say it, I think this is what's plaguing Kenny Roxon. He's got a contract that he gets paid no matter what the results are. So when he fades from 1st to 11th, it doesn't matter. His paycheck is still going to be the same. Uh-huh. Where you look at the guy that is going to kill the dude in front of him for $200 because he may not have enough gas money to get to the next round.
Yeah, that's why
Who would you rather watch race?
Model.
Me and Kate Tyson and A-Ray.
Yeah. But, I mean, just like they're talking about Vince Freezy killing a dude for 15th because he needs 15th for that bonus.
Yeah, I think the hate needs to get away from Vince as well. I'm going to be real honest with you.
Yeah. The hate?
Yeah, I think
No, I respect the hell out of
I
Vince
think the
Freezy.
hate's getting a little bit overdone. I think that, he was I like to call him Hazard, like I just called Michael Mosman last time. I think that he was a hazard.
That video just went up, by the way.
I
Check it
seen
out
that
on our YouTube channel.
At the beginning of his career. But let's be real, like
now.
Vince, he's not. Vince is a solid, 11 to 15 guy in Supercross with a few 9th and 10th there. Like, we can't keep calling him a squid anymore.
No.
Like, he makes mains all the time. He's a good test rider. I mean, I don't know. I think the whole Vince Freeze and all that kind of shit, like that way of doing things, like it worked for him. And A-Ray's kind of going down that path as well. Like, he's the wild child now. But
now, you bringing up MCR is good because we kind of talked about this during the week here. I don't think we talked about it on the show. I've heard that MCR is going to an arena cross deal for next year. They're not coming back to Supercross.
It's already done. They're not coming back.
Oh, there you go.
Told you.
Told you.
Okay. Told you.
So what did they do?
Now,
did
here's
Honda
where,
just
here's
swap?
where all the crazy wrenches were getting thrown in. So the lowdown is Bobby Hewitt was trying to get that Honda money to start his team. He was trying to get the Smart Tops money with anticipation of getting, obviously, Anderson. Those two have a very tight relationship together. So Bobby has been fighting extremely hard to get the Honda deal in place. and has essentially given up at this point, is what I'm hearing. So with that happening, we're not going to see Hewitt come in because, in my opinion, that was the big linchpin in this whole. Yeah, Tomac was a big curveball, but the big linchpin was let's assume Tomac, none of this happened. If Hewitt comes in and he gets that Honda money and he plucks Anderson away, because the word was it was going to be Anderson and 250 riders, which I think would be awesome because now Bobby, yet again, offering more people a chance to get a job, mechanics, riders, drivers, everything. If Bobby had gotten the Honda money, Anderson goes with Bobby. Now think about what the narrative would look like. Because if you're Forkner and you didn't have 2 seasons of being hurt all the time, well, you're an immediate shoe-in to fill in Tomac's spot because Anderson's going to Bobby's team. The big question is Dean Wilson's not getting a ride with Husky. He's not being re-signed, so he got an opening there. So now let's think about this. Anderson leaves. You've got Dean leaves. So now you have 2 openings on a 450 program at Husky. Just stop the musical chairs and think about all the scenarios that could come out of that scenario. Now, obviously, in the last 7 days, it's changed dramatically. We know Tomac is going over to Yamaha. Well, if you look at this year's team, Yamaha had a 3-man 450 Yamaha program. You know, when you had Mookie, you had Ferrandis, and you had Plessinger. Well, now Tomac is there for sure to replace Plessinger, so that frees up 1 spot. I'm going to go against what some of these other talking pundits said, where they're like, oh, well, Yamaha enticed Tomac to come to Yamaha. I don't think so. Word on the street, and some people I've spoken to, is Cowie did not invoke their first right of refusal, didn't even offer Tomac a contract. What's that tell you and I? That he took less money to go to Yamaha. There's no way he got paid the same money. He didn't get enticed to go. There's nowhere else for him to go.
it's just like them letting Carmichael walk, letting Stewart walk. It's a common thing.
I love this conversation because remember last time we were on the studio, we had this conversation about where's Tomac going to go? And I said to you guys that I don't think Cowie's happy with him just mailing her in anymore.
Yeah.
And that I'm not saying that makes me look 100% right, but with what Coach is saying, like it kind of proves my point a little bit.
Well, there's some personnel at Yamaha that used to work with Tomac.
Yamaha?
How the fuck am I saying?
You say Yamaha. Put a lot of emphasis
no
on the
W
H.
on the end, bud.
Yamaha. Bro, you ain't from Nebraska.
I watch a lot of Family Guy, right?
You ain't
Fuck
from
off.
Nebraska.
I watch a lot of Family Guy, right?
Anyways,
Anyway,
yeah.
I've heard there is some staffing over there at Star.
Just call it Star.
That he likes working with. The one guy is a mechanic that used to work with him, and I can't think of what his name is now. He's not a mechanic per se at Star, but he's something else now, and he apparently does the setup on the bike the way Tomac really likes it. Mm-hmm. So that was something I heard, was that there's some staffing over there that he really likes. Now, the talking pundits that I listened to about this, they also said that, you know, they figured that he got thrown a bunch of money to go there. But, Coach, as you're saying, if Kawasaki didn't invoke their first right of refusal, yeah, he took less money to go for sure then.
Which, like I said, kind of proves.
He had to. There was no place for him to go. Honda's full.
Yep.
There is no Suzuki program. Yamaha was the only place he could go. Obviously, leaving Cowie, KTM is full. So this idea, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to what you're saying, I think it's a little bit of a smoke screens and mirror. They're like, oh, look at this. There's some pre-existing staff that's over at Star Yamaha. I think it's a very indirect way to take the light away from Kawasaki. Didn't want him, just like they didn't want James. They didn't even offer James another contract.
Yeah.
So you've got to put it, if you're now the rider.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
So where does Cowie go from here, though?
Anderson.
You think Ando's going there?
I do. I mean, I don't know if Coach has other
Coach, you've been in the Mecca. Fill us in here.
Yeah, I don't think that there's any place that Anderson can go, because since Bobby's team got shut down, that would have been the only one. And the other moving part of the equation is, and this is where it's going to get a little convoluted, the only trepidation that I'm seeing, by being 100% confident saying that Anderson goes to Yamaha, is because he's been a long-time Rockstar guy.
Yeah.
And he has a very good affiliate relationship with them. Even though Rockstar got bought out by Pepsi, he still has a good affiliation with them. In fact, I haven't talked to Bobby Hewitt about this, but if I were to connect the dots, I would have thought that it would be a Honda Rockstar program that Bobby was putting together, which would be a perfect sidestep for Anderson, because he's still pissed that Bobby got axed out of his own team at Rockstar. So now that we know that Bobby's team is not going to happen, how much money are they going to put into Anderson's pocket to offset the money he's going to lose at Rockstar to go to a monster team? That's going to be a big key. I honestly think Anderson really has nowhere else to go except either stay at Husky, which is still an option, or go to Cali. But if he goes to Cali, he loses Rockstar. That's going to be the pieces in the pie. This isn't the first time we've heard, go back to James Stewart, very big Red Bull athlete. At the time, he couldn't go to Honda when Honda wanted him because they had muscle milk.
Yeah.
This is one of the big reasons why James never went to Honda. So people don't understand when these teams do an agreement like that, and then you have somebody like I'm going to pull someone unrelated, like a Jeremy McGrath, who has a brand ambassador deal with, let's say, Monster. Well, that hurts their ability to bring another rider in because you've got to buy them out of that lost opportunity of money. So that's why I'm not saying Anderson's a done deal. What I'm thinking is Anderson is in a good situation because Husky, Cali, neither one of them, I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but when Anderson's deal with Husky, the first year that he won, in his contract was his salary immediately doubled. So if he's making $1 million that first year when he won it, he got a guaranteed. Well, now he's probably getting $500,000 a year. Now put yourself in this situation. Is Cowie going to be able to afford $500,000 for Anderson? Yeah, they just got rid of Tomac for $2.5 million. So they've got some money to play with, which was what leads me to think that Cowie may go to a 3-man team because they have a lot more money left over. That's my personal opinion.
Crazy thing
Going
is,
back.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was
Go
just gonna,
ahead, brother.
I was just going to say that if Anderson stays at Husky, crazy thing is like, and we've kind of all been talking about this in our group chat. Who do they go with? Because there's not a lot of people available. Because there's
For Kawasaki?
yeah, for like people like who's available to pick up. Because if Anderson stays at Husky, you know, I haven't said the Mookie thing, but you know, I do agree with you guys. I don't see a Stewart ever going back to Kawasaki. Fortner's not going to get bumped up unless, though, in my opinion, the only way he does is if he just annihilates everybody outdoors. But even then, it's a little sketchy. So then you're looking at, well, who do you got? Like who are you bringing there?
I think if the
Yeah.
number 6 has a good outdoor season, he might have a shot.
But the problem,
He's already signed with Star for one more year next year. He's already signed at a 250
Well,
level.
it's that Supercross title.
yep. Well, and
Yeah.
that's
So for me, the guy that has to be brought into the mix is Christian Craig.
Yeah.
Because if you look at Christian Craig, he's in a perfect situation. He could jump over to Cowie 450.
Yeah.
He could jump to Husky 450, or he could go up to Star 450. Because if you look at this year, they had Plessinger, Ferrandis, and Mookie. Now they've got Tomac and Ferrandis. Well, they already are. I think Mookie's making like $300K. So to bring Craig up to the Star 450, not a bad idea. You got to remember Husky now has an opening because Wilson's gone. So Craig could jump over there if Anderson goes to Cowie. So I personally believe Christian Craig is going to be the guy that is going to be when all the musical chairs stop, Anderson goes to either Cowie or stays at Husky. Then that opens up for him to go over to either Cowie or Yamaha. If he likes the program at Yamaha, then that opens up the opportunity at Cowie. I hate to say it, but I do believe that Forkner would probably get the first nod if he has a solid outdoors, like you said.
Yep.
But that's how the musical chairs will stop. But here's the real kicker of all of these conversations. J-Mart, 1-year deal. Nichols, 1-year deal. Cooper, 1-year deal. Thrasher just signed 3 years, so he's not going anywhere.
that's cool.
Kitchen's replacing Fry.
Yes.
So he's got the 1-year deal. Then you have Christian Craig. So that's all the Star Yamaha guys. If everything stays the way that we said, at the end of next season, you've got J. Mart, Nichols, Cooper, Thrasher, and Craig that could go to fill in the blank. Because it's my understanding that most of these rides, Anderson's probably only going to get a 1-year ride. You kind of jumping around here a little bit. As soon as K-Rock decides he's not going to race anymore, Jet Lawrence is going directly to HRC Factory. There's nothing that's going to stop that.
Yep.
Yep. Kind of seen. Yeah.
So here's where that second little what if goes. You've got 5 guys at Star Yamaha. What about Hunter Lawrence? He's on a fast track to KTM. Because
I just got excited.
because
I'm a big Hunter Lawrence
Red
guy.
When Marvin goes.
Oh God.
Well, Red Bull is really after Hunter in a big way. Well, Hunter is a Red Bull. KTM's a Red Bull. Right now, Jet can go directly to Honda because they have no drink sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
So what you see is Jet directly taking Roxon's place, whether it's this year, which I believe it will, or next year. You have Hunter. I mean, the Honda programs are pretty much going away. So Hunter and Jet, if Jet goes directly to K-Rock's place, Hunter, Red Bull rider, goes directly to KTM. Marv has only got a 1-year deal, which I personally believe they'll put him under the Gas umbrella for branding.
Yep.
So now that leaves you Webb and Plessinger at KTM. It leaves you with the Gas with Barsha and Marv. And now you've got Hunter that goes and jumps in with Volan over at the 250 side of things at KTM. Why is that? Now KTM, for the first time in a long time, has a development program of a 250 rider that they haven't had since fill in the blank. Dean Ferris, maybe?
Probably.
It's been a
yeah.
while.
Yeah.
Hunter on a
It's been a
factory
while.
KTM would be insane.
That would be really good.
Oh my God.
So, and then the other thing that we haven't talked about is, yes, we know that Osborne is re-signed with Husky, but you've got Wilson there, and if Anderson doesn't go, then that's where I think Christian Craig is going to be your real kingpin in this when the musical chairs stop. He'll be the guy everybody will look
What
at
does
personally.
Wilson do?
I think Dino's going to retire.
Dino hangs it
Did you
up.
see that Kiefer was saying that Scuba's not coming back to Rockstar?
Yeah, I did see that too.
I
that's
did hear
interest-
that.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
that is
Yeah.
a true statement.
So I'm curious who was going to take his spot.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I can guarantee it won't be Bobby Hewitt. That's for damn sure.
I love Bobby Hewitt.
But-
I love Bobby Hewitt.
Yeah, Bobby is. The sport needs more Bobby Hewitts. An outside investor, outside blood, outside businessman. No bullshit.
Somebody knows what they're talking
But then,
about.
yeah. So then you look at that Husky gas KTM just at the 250 level. Did they bring Robertson back? He's been the guy that's not been the best performer this year. They've got Tim Ferry's son, Evans, coming up. So if you follow these amateur programs, they get 3 years as amateur, 1 year as pro. I don't know when Ferry's coming up, but I would guess it'd be within the next year or two.
Isn't Hawkins the next one up?
Talon Hawkins is
Yeah.
under Ferry, I think.
Oh, he is? But is he?
Maybe. I don't
didn't
know.
know
They're
that.
pretty close.
I thought Talon would be the next guy if he keeps performing that they'd bring up. I mean, I know that
Yeah, I think
Evan's the guy, but like he's still what, 15, 16?
Yeah, but it would be the same track that Robertson took as well as
True.
Jalik.
That's very true.
And what's scary is, as far as I'm concerned, if Jalik was not getting good starts, because he can't hold the pace. He gets
No.
up there and shakes it up, but he can't hold the pace. The only thing that's saving his ass is his ability to get starts. And hey, I got to tip my hat. He does it
Oh,
in
yeah.
some of the deepest competition. He doesn't back down. But the only person that really deserves a 250 ride to be re-signed, if you really think about it, is Hampshire. And yes, we haven't seen him be able to race because of injuries, but when he was racing, I mean, none of us would argue the fact that he wasn't hauling the mail.
Oh, yeah. No,
You know?
I agree. I mean,
I got one seat that I've heard some jumblings around, and Coach might know more about it. Is Blake Baggett alive? And will he go on
He's working
the
with his dad.
Tedder KTM?
he's doing things with his dad, I think, the last I heard.
Yeah, he's done. We won't see anything. The only thing he's going to try to do is get his money that's owed to him, which
Jesus.
is close to $1 million. It's just he's not coming back. He doesn't need the sport. He doesn't need the money. And again, for all the people that are keyboard warriors and total dickheads, he can't say anything about it because he's in a gag order because he's cases in court. I mean, these people are like, well, why isn't Baggett talking and why are the reporters not digging it up? He can't say a thing, but it goes without saying. He had a 2-year deal and didn't show up for the second year. You don't need a master's degree in logic to understand he's probably owed money, and that's why he didn't come back racing. The person that I think has to have his head examined is Sabachi. Why in the hell would you agree to go fill in a position where a guy's in a lawsuit to get paid?
I completely agree. Being a Joey Savacci fan, it frustrated the hell out of me. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? It's like, I understand you
Yep.
need a ride, but why would you go to that team?
Yep. Well, and then you have these guys that think they're too cool for their agents. They fire their agents because I don't know. There's this incredible disparity between what these riders think they're worth and what the agents can actually go out and get for them. And so they get their panties in a wad. So they just fire the agent. I'm like, well, that's brilliant. Now you're out there negotiating, training, traveling, trying to get a job. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Marchbanks.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Garrett Marchbanks.
Now,
totally do that.
Marchbanks is different. Marchbanks has gotten completely dicked over by his agent. His agent needs to be just crucified. He's a dickhead. That was the absolute worst mismanagement of a rider I have ever seen in the history of the sport. Hands down.
So it was actually the agent.
Yeah, the fact that he didn't take the star deal.
All sorts of
that
stuff.
was the dumbest thing
Hang on,
ever.
he had a star deal?
100%.
Yeah, he had a star deal.
100%. He had both a pro circuit deal and he had a star deal. He has come back from all of these injuries. He has one good race. Mitch hasn't seen his agent for Lord only knows how long. His agent goes in, essentially tries to strong arm Mitch.
Dumbass.
Mitch tells him to go beat Sand, and then Garrett goes and gets hurt the next weekend, and both contracts were pulled off the table. So he went from having 2 opportunities to no opportunities because he tried to strong arm Mitch Payton.
If I'd have been Marchbanks at the moment I heard, yeah, man, you got a star deal, sold. I'm taking it. I don't even need to see the contract. I'd have taken it. I would.
So knowing that being the agent's fault, where's this McAdoo takeout come from?
That's why I'm telling you guys, I don't think it's what everybody says it is. Like, I know that it looks that way, but I seriously believe that more happened in that race that pissed off. I don't like what he did. Like, dude, you don't go and saw off somebody's front end like that. But I don't think it had anything to do with Pro Circuit. I think it had everything to do with what happened earlier in that race that McAdoo was riding like an idiot.
100%. He was cross jumping him, and Garrett's the only guy big enough to say, fuck this, and just said enough. You know, I don't think Garrett at any time was hoping that they would both go down, but he's like, if there's, you know, it's almost, hate to say it, but this is a really bad analogy. I may get ostracized for saying this, but it kind of reminds me of like the Columbine massacre. Did you ever hear how that massacre came to a close?
No.
One kid sitting underneath the desk, and these guys in these black coats are busting through a room shooting people, and the guy came in the room and he jumped out from underneath the desk with a pencil and stuck it in his chest.
Well, all right.
Now he got his head blown off with a shotgun, but the shooting stopped. So to me, again, that's a very poor analogy, but it's one that comes to mind. Marchbanks was like, fuck this. You keep cross jumping me. I weigh twice as much as you. I can beat you in an arm wrestling contest, but right now, I'm going to all but Weston Pike you in this right-hand turn.
Yeah, and McAdoo was lucky that it didn't happen for more people in that race. He was pissing off. He was pissing off a lot of people, and I think Hunter's going to owe him one this outdoors. I think you're going to see Hunter pay him back.
All right, so I got one more silly season question then, and Coach, this is more direct at you since you've been kind of in the mix out there in California for a couple of weeks, and you kind of made mention of this earlier. The Honda 250 effort's going away, like the factory 250 effort that the Lawrence brothers are on right now. Where does the Honda 250 effort come from then? Like, is the FXR Chaparral team going to stay? Is Phoenix going to take over the reins? Like, what are you hearing as far as that goes?
Right now, it's a 50-50 split between those two teams, and it goes back to, do they have the additional funding to be able to go racing? You know, because the one team that you're hearing a lot of scuttlebutt about is Muck Off. You know, I've heard Dean Wilson's going over there, so they kind of have some level of money, even if it's just performance based. So is that performance based bonus going to come from Honda? That's the $1 million. Like, if you get in behind the scenes with any of the Cowie Monster discussions, who's paying what bonuses? You know, Cowie's paying the salaries, but then Monster's paying bonuses, or vice versa. Mm-hmm. I don't know what I would assume if they can get Dean Wilson, because he's still one of the, if you're going to look at the top 10 guys, he's going to be in that top 10. Obviously, Muckoff's got to have some money. And I apologize, off the top of my head, who are they've got a 250 rider and a 450 rider. Who are they?
Mitchell Harrison
Justin
and
Brayton.
Justin Brayton.
That's what I thought.
I think Brayton's going
and Harrison's done really well. And what I mean by that is the bike is obviously fast. I mean, Harrison's been shaking it up at the front quite a bit. Yeah. So it leads me to believe that maybe they have a little bit better funding, because we're hearing a lot more stuff about Muck-Off than we are Phoenix or, even Ty Lube Team or any of those guys.
Well, then
So
Phoenix just bought JGR's old trailer, though, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
yeah, I've heard that, but unfortunately, I've heard things over the last 3 seasons that whether it's the person that tries to sell the sponsorship in Phoenix or whatever, there's been a lot of overselling and under delivering, and that's why,
Oh boy.
what was it, 2 years ago, we thought Phoenix was going to be kind of the next big satellite Honda team. One funding didn't come, the next funding didn't come, and next thing you know, the team, they were there, but they were at the level that they were touted as coming out as.
Yeah.
So we're back to that. I would think that based on those grumblings that I've heard, Muck-Off would be the top Honda team that's got funding that's coming their direction directly from Honda.
Huh.
But the
Interesting.
Lawrence brothers are going to be gone. I mean,
Okay.
as soon as K-Rock decides he's tapping out, Jet has immediately got that role, and I think you'll see Hunter moving his way over to either KTM or maybe even Cowie, depending on the musical chairs. That's what goes back to what I said earlier. With so many people only bidding a 1-year deal, makes you wonder, what are they waiting for? A J Mart, a Nichols, a Cooper, a Hunter. There's going to be a lot of big names in the 250 class that will be looking for opportunities.
Well, we're going to have a big retirement party at the end of Supercross next year. We're going to have Kenny,
Yes.
Marvin,
Tomac.
Tomac. Yeah.
Yep.
Who else we got? Is that it?
You just send somebody out there with the camera and
Maybe-
just sneak around
Maybe
and find them riding these
Dino.
things.
I don't know. A whole bunch. It's
Well,
gonna be,
then think about what you just said right there. When Tomac retires, Brandis's career, his contract at Yamaha's up, I see him going very, very hard after Cowie. Very hard after Cowie.
Well, he grew up racing Cowie, so it makes sense.
Yep. And that's just where the musical chairs lie. I like Cooper Webb as a person, but think about it. When he came out of that 250 class and went into the 450, he leveraged everything in this contract not to race and still get paid. I mean, think about it. We saw him on a 450 Yamaha for 2 years and saw him race, 11 times?
yeah.
Yeah, it might have been 11.
Yeah.
You
It wasn't a
know,
lot.
he just hated the he hated the 450, and everybody that we've talked to, from James Stewart to Cooper Webb, I mean, the list goes on. With the exception of this 1 year, with the exception of this year, it's the first time we've seen Plessinger or Mookie, or even Ferrandis for that little matter, put that Yamaha even inside the top 10 from start to finish. I don't know why Mookie keeps turning left and right-hand turn, but you got to figure that out later this year.
Yep.
Come on, Mook.
Okay. All
So,
right. Well,
be interesting.
let's get into our 250 outdoor preview here. Then we'll start with some of our outliers here. We'll start with our guys that aren't really on. We'll call it full-blown teams. They're kind of on team.
I bet he missed half of the names I was thinking
No,
of.
We made
I'd
the
help.
list.
The one thing I got to know is, and I don't know if you know, like, if you talked to Osby lately, is Phoenix going
I
outdoors?
can talk to him and see how the wrist is.
Because I was wondering if Phoenix is going
He
outdoors
has
this
number.
year.
Text him right now. Let's break some
I
news
do
on
have
the
his
show.
number, but I have a suspicion that he'll go to Canada.
Well, yeah, because I was wondering about that, because I'd heard rumblings before Mason Gonzalez got hurt that he was going to go outdoors, and now who knows? But he's on the Phoenix team, so I'm wondering. But then Kyle Peters is on that team, and Kyle Peters hasn't raced outdoors in how
Yeah,
long?
Kyle Peters is not running outdoors at all.
which makes me believe that only leaves you with Enzo Lopes. I don't think Phoenix is going outdoors.
Kyle Peters is going to sell cars, bro.
I think Josh is chasing after that title in Canada. He's been really close. So
Yeah, well, now that I forgot who it is. The kid who won the title last year moved up. He's got a chance now. I forgot who Jess Pettis. Since Jess Pettis moved up.
he moved to 450 class.
Yeah. So Osby's definitely got a shot now.
Cole Thompson gonna T-bone every single one of them.
Maybe.
yes.
No, so I was wondering about that. So that leads me to believe that, yeah, Phoenix is not going outdoors.
All right, yeah,
So
and I think Josh's
Kyle
wrist is a little
Peters is not going outdoors?
No.
Not that
No.
we've heard.
No. I don't think so.
Man, I just think he'd be so good. I love that guy. I've always liked him. He's always been an underdog. To see him do well in arena cross is so, dominant and heck, I mean, I thought he did a great job jumping over to Supercross.
I mean, he's top.
I think-
top
Yeah,
5 guy.
Josh was on Steve's show the other night, and they were talking about Kyle a little bit, and they're like, "Yeah, there's no way in hell Kyle races outdoors."
I think Kyle likes to be fat and happy in the summertime.
He likes to sell cars, bro. Okay.
Whatever, dude. I think he
Just-
likes to live the boat life with some
No,
beer.
he likes to sell cars. All right,
Okay,
that's it.
whatever.
He's fine. So,
So okay, Phoenix is not going outdoors then, which kind of sucks because it'd be cool to see another Honda team out there. But
Yeah.
what you know,
Yeah.
all right. So let's talk about your boy then, Justin. I'll let you start here. Mitchell Harrison.
well, like I said, I tried to get a hold of him this week. I know that he's riding outdoors. He's been riding his practice bike, but I don't know what he's doing. Like, because he told me that Muck-Off's not going outdoors, which they haven't in a long time. So I don't really know his program. I know that he's been, like I said, riding his practice bike. But if he's going outdoors with any support whatsoever, I would got to believe that he's going to be in the same spot he always is. He's going to be a top 10 guy. He's going to have top 5 moments. When we go to Redbud, he's almost guaranteed a podium. He's been there every time. I can't comment because I haven't talked to him lately, and I don't know what he's doing. Like, I know it's not with the team. 'Cause like I said, they're not going outdoors this year. At least that's what he told me back at the beginning of Supercross.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just
Pizza Patrol gonna step up?
no, we're not stepping up and sponsoring him.
Just Bobby Pizza.
Just Bobby Pizza. Well, yeah, we got to talk about that
We got to
too.
talk about that too. After the show.
But yeah, if he's got any support whatsoever, I think he's going to be in the same spot he always is. He's going to be a top 10 guy, and he's going to be top 5 every now and then.
I'm not going to argue
Grab a
that
fill
point
in
at
here
all.
and there.
What's that?
Grab a fill in.
He had been talking to some teams, which I know which teams those are. That would be Pro Circuit, and the only other team I could think of that he would be talking to at the time would be Husky, because who knows what Styles, however you want to say his name. But
Styles, yep. Styles Robertson.
Yep. So that would be the only thing, and I think that he's not very happy with how the whole thing ended up at Pro Circuit, but that was always his dream. Last year was insane for him, no matter how things ended. But I just don't know what his program is. But I know that if he's healthy, he's happy with whatever bike he's on, he's going to be where he's always at, top 10 with, like I said, flashes of top 5 and podiums. But I don't know what he's doing. If it's a privateer effort, it's going to be tough because the motor's just not going to be there.
Anybody got any arguments to any of that? Because I don't.
Nope.
I mean, yeah, it's tough
Nope,
to compete
not
on
at
a
all.
privateer. I mean, I know Jeff
Yeah.
Walker. He's pissing in the wind going on a 250. I don't know why he would even try. I think
He's
a
riding
450
250 outdoors again? I
Dude,
thought
that's
he
all
was
he's been
back
riding.
I think a
Jesus
450
Christ.
would be a lot better option for Jeff. He's taller.
Plus, he's a big dude on a
kind of
250F.
lugs the bike. And,
He's a big guy on a 250F.
yeah,
Not so
but-
much his weight, but like he's yeah. So I don't know. I just wish I could have more. I tried to get a hold of Mitchell and Brian this week. I didn't get anything back. Maybe I'll get something next week. But I know he's riding outdoors. I just don't know what his program is. If I could say that he was on a team, I would say a little bit higher. But if he's going with this where he's just doing it on his own, we know that doesn't usually work in the 250 class. It just doesn't. So I don't know. I wish I had more, but
Okay. Well, let's move away from him then. Next dude I got on my list, Carson Mumford.
He had a very, very underwhelming Supercross season. I was high on him going.
Yeah,
in.
but he was quietly good outdoors last year. Do we think he's going to be quietly good outdoors this year, or is he just going to shit the bed again like he did on indoors?
he's not coming back to the high point.
What's he riding?
I think he's doing the FXR Chaparral Honda still. I almost said Yamaha.
Yeah.
Well, I
I
got a
hate to
guy
say
that's
it,
going to
but-
beat Carson Mumford while we're talking about that team. Cody Schock.
Cody
450.
Schock's riding 450.
Is he riding a 450?
Yeah, so Mumford will be the only 250 guy out there for the team.
What were you going to say, Coach?
Yeah, what do you got on that, Coach?
My only concern with these privateer teams on the Honda is it's just slow.
Yeah.
It's just painfully slow. Talking with J Mart, he was saying that the discrepancy between his Honda and his Star Yamaha was like a moped and just a rocket. I'm paraphrasing. He did not say that. He told me what the horsepower difference was, and he said he could not believe the difference. And whenever I was always trying to cheer for J Mart, I knew he was always at a disadvantage chasing Ferrandis around on that Star Yamaha. He had to be creative. He had to carry momentum everywhere. And I feel bad for the Mumfords and these guys that are on Hondas without the same equipment that the Lawrence brothers are going to get. Talent aside, you're at a huge horsepower disadvantage, in my opinion.
I mean, where do we see him? Do we see
Well,
him in the top 15?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing with Carson.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I was about to say, here's the thing that I'm worried with Carson, not only with him coming back from his injury, but even if he's 100%, let's be honest, last year, other than WW, we didn't go to any hot races. We have yet to see what he looks like 25 minutes into a moto when it's 98 degrees out.
Sure.
And you have a kind of a renaissance of a lot of these TLD experiment kids.
Oh yeah, well the next team
You
we're
got
gonna
Sean
talk-
Cantrell coming
yeah,
back into the picture.
we're gonna talk about him with
Yep.
Bar X.
You have
Derek
Mitchell
Drake.
Falk coming back into the picture. You have
He's riding a
Derek
450.
Drake
Mitchell Falk. He's riding a 450.
in that practice video.
Yeah.
Is he gonna do 450 outdoor?
I mean, I think it'd be smart.
I don't know. Either way, you got those rejuvenated kids.
Yeah.
You got that. Who's that other dude from
Yeah.
Bar X that showed up to a couple nationals and did well?
Preston Kilroy.
Preston Kilroy.
Yep.
Is he going to be a Loretta's guy again this year, I think?
He did. I think he was at Freestone, so I'd assume so.
Okay. He had some good rides as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I would like to say that I think Mumford's going to do well. I don't have anything against the kid, but we didn't see what he's going to do 25 minutes into a moto when it's blazing hot out. Like, I don't think his WW results were that good because that was the only really hot race. So you kind of have to take last year, especially with just taking away what it was. You can't really take those results and transfer them over to 2021. Like, I don't think you can, at least.
Okay.
I don't know.
No.
So I agree. I don't even think he's top 15. I don't.
I don't think top 15 either.
Fall from greatness there.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
He had a lot of
Yeah.
hype around him, but let's be real. Like
Yeah. So okay.
Yeah,
so,
but you gotta remember that hype around him at the amateur level. When you take a Geico race bike to amateur races, it's pretty easy to be in that top 3 every weekend
Oh yeah.
yeah.
because you're essentially racing against Kitchen or Fry or Thrasher, at Loretta's, and so now you're on a star bike against a Geico bike, but there's not 35 guys that could shake it up. All you gotta do is just transition over the gate, and you're pretty much gonna be in the top 5 with those guys. No disrespect to Mumford, but he was essentially riding J Mark's bike at Loretta's. Made him look good. Now, everybody factory bikes, I think, are going to leave Mumford's behind. They could say it's not a talent issue. I think, unfortunately for him, it'll be completely being undermined by equipment. And fitness will obviously be a big question, both in and out of the heat. It's a long-ass season running two motos 1 hour apart for 16, 18 consecutive weekends.
Yep. Okay, so let's transition to our next guy then. Coach, we'll start with you on this one because you know him best. Alex Martin. What do you got?
What is he coming back on Cycle Rider or Cycle Trader, Trader Joe's, Yamaha, Bob's? What Yamaha
Bob's,
riding this year?
Man Luck,
Manluck, I don't know.
Manluck,
whatever
Troll
that-
Train,
Man Luck, Troll Training.
Ronnie Mack.
Yeah, whatever the hell. I believe he's riding outdoors on that, as far as I know.
Yeah, I mean, how do you go against any Yamaha that's going to be out there? I'm sure maybe Filthy Phil's helping him get some parts here and there. I don't think you can ever count out a guy that was second overall in the series for 3 years until he went to the yellow third. You just can't count the guy out. He's a pit bull. He's no longer on a Suzuki, so he doesn't have to kickstart the bike for 14 minutes before the race. That's good.
Get you warmed up. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, I would put him in the top 5, even the top 10 in every given weekend because the guy could get some starts and he's on a bike that's fast. Let's admit it. Unfortunately, he puts himself down on the ground and makes it harder. But I don't think you could take a guy that's finished, that high in the outdoor series. Again, no disrespect that you got to put it where it's at. Very competitive until he went to Suzuki. So I would put that guy in the top 10 all weekend long.
You know, some of Jeremy's parts are going to trickle its way
That
on
was
the
exactly what I was
I-
just about to
yeah.
say.
I
There's
have-
going to be some star parts on that bike, guaranteed.
I have to
Yep.
agree with that because, like, you got to think too. Like his starts, obviously being on the Suzuki, were other than Loretta's, they weren't good last year. So he's always working his way through where he tend to get ahead of himself, hit the ground. But we know that cardio is not an issue with Abart. Like
No.
him and Germ are two of the most physically fit dudes in all of moto, this side and the other side of the pond. So I don't
Absolutely.
think, and if he's getting a start, like I could see him. It's just, once again, even though the bike is so much better out of the box than all the other ones, if there is factory parts on that, I mean, I don't know why he can't be battling for top 5s
I think
if he's healthy.
Agreed.
I can't disagree with that. I mean, I don't know. Even at his age, being the old man of the class, it just his outright speed is still there. Like, you even seen it in time qualifying quite a few times last year. Like, he would pop up in 4th or 5th on that Suzuki.
Well, and last year he had a string of, we'll call it bad luck. I mean, look at, what was it, Loretta's 1 or Loretta's 2, where he basically whole shot the race, goes into like the 3rd corner and just pushes the front end. I mean,
Yep. Cartwheels.
yeah, I was gonna say you take away some of that, and where he's then got to sit there and Suzuki just kick it for 15 minutes, like Coach said, and all of a sudden he's on the podium in the first 2 rounds. and boom.
And
the
you know
whole
what-
season's different for
And
him.
and you know every time him and Jeremy are training together, like the video he just put out, them doing motos at Millville.
Bro, they're training
Like
at Millville
Jamar
right
is
now,
pushing
yes.
him all the time. Like that's how it's always been. But like the video, Jamar, they were doing 25, 30-minute motos, but then they were doing
Jeremy
heaters.
was doing
Don't give me a spoiler,
41s
I haven't
and
watched it.
Alex
I haven't
was
watched it
doing
yet.
43.
Exactly,
on
and
the
you-
450.
and you know that's not
guys
gonna happen.
also bring up his age, and it's interesting when you're Amark's age in the 250 class. That's what I refer to as athletic maturity.
Yep.
He knows it's a long season. He knows it's 2 long motos on one given day. You get a couple kids that are coming out of Loretto's, or especially with all this crazy ass, you can be an amateur and go race pro and go back to amateur, and all the 12 if-then statements that are associated with the changes in the rule book. You're going to have some guy that'll come in, let's say he's on I'm just pulling a loose team. He's on a Husqvarna amateur program, comes out, gets a great hole shot, rides like an absolute scatterbrain idiot. J-Mark's going to know how to stay away from him, let the guy yard dart himself. Maybe the kid does like a Sexton and goes 1 DNF. You're going to have Martin that's going to be out there sitting there third, fourth, just managing a series, not winning a race. He's managing a series. That maturity is going to be a big differentiating factor for Amark. Huge, I think, at the end of the season.
I think
Yeah.
he's going to be.
He knows how to
the
manage
shocker.
a series, not a weekend.
Yeah, I think he's going to be the surprise of 250 outdoors.
I think so,
Because I think
too.
a lot of people just kind of count him out. I think he's going to be a
Yeah.
surprise. I really do.
I see him
When
right
you're part-
hovering
when
right
you're part
around
of Team
that
Blue Crew,
5 to 10.
You're just excellent, all right?
Well, when the bike's that
Absolutely.
good.
That's what we are. We're called excellence over here at Blue Crew. Okay.
I just can't wait for when he gets on the podium and he has to name that whole entire team.
Oh my God, it's gonna be great.
Can't even take a
Yeah.
break. It's just a runoff.
Oh, he's going to have that star-style pit board out.
Well,
in
Oh,
and
yeah.
if he doesn't mention Filthy Phil somewhere, Phil's going to beat his ass back at club
Oh
next
God,
week.
yes.
Well, Phil. We could talk about this in the 450 preview. We can
I
see
think
Filthy
Phil's
Phil
going to
again
be
this
good,
summer.
man.
Yeah.
Phil's going to have a good summer, I feel like.
Oh yeah. Well, if he doesn't brag on himself.
All right, so let's start moving on to some of these. We'll call them tier 2 teams here, really. So the Bar X Suzuki, whatever the hell they are. That's all I know.
Larry
them as.
Brooks.
Bar X Suzuki, yeah. With
Oh,
Larry
you're going to
Brooks.
get Justin all fired up with one of their riders.
Yeah,
So we
man,
got-
I do. I like one of them. Actually, I
Dylan
like two of them.
Schwartz.
There you go.
Derek Drake, Sean Cantrell, and John Short.
That's a
Justin-
solid lineup.
I think it is.
I mean, for a Suzuki team, that's solid, but if they got to just kick it, bro, it's a problem.
Look,
Gets the heart rate up on the line.
Gets the heart rate up.
I think Schwartz, we kind of know, is probably going to be, if he can stay off the ground, is going to be the top performer on that team.
Over under, how many people does he just completely fucking KO this year?
Well, it depends on if he's coming from 39th. If he's coming from 39th, he's at least taking out 12
That's likely
dudes.
on the Suzuki.
Yeah, he's taking out 12 guys.
Okay.
He's the most interesting person because we saw how good he was at the end of last year, like when he showed up to the few of the
Yeah.
Nationals. If he gets a top 10 start, it's game on because the kid is not afraid to send it. His starts aren't going to be there, and he hits the ground a lot. But you got to think with overall speed, he's got to be a 10 to 15 guy. I just don't know. All the other stuff is what's concerning to me.
Yeah.
His speed is not the issue. Like it's just his starts are probably going to be trash because the
Yep.
bike it's very slow compared to all the other teams.
Is he like Barsha? Can he pass someone without hitting them, or is that just natural?
Outside,
He has to use someone
on
as
the
a
outside.
berm. Okay.
It's going to be on the outside.
all right.
I think he's going to be really good. I really do because, like I said, he got a few top 10s in motos last year at the end of the year, and that was coming from almost last.
Yeah.
Pretty sure at Thunder Valley he came from like 39th to 12th or something. So that's impressive.
Yeah.
But
I think you could throw a blanket over that whole team. Honestly, they're right in the same little area.
John
I was
Short.
gonna say John Short, top 20 dude all summer, right?
Yeah, John Short would be the guy that I think. I agree. Shorts is going to be good, but John Short's the one that I think will be the one. If you're going to kind of play a game of last man standing on this team, I think Short will be the one standing.
He hasn't ridden a 250F outdoors in a long time, I don't think.
Yeah,
So that's going to be interesting too. I think that.
Yeah.
I think he's really good. I like John Short. I like his whole story because he wasn't really talked about as an amateur, and he just kind of.
Oh, that's right, because he's been riding that Honda 450 outdoors, hasn't
Yeah.
he?
Yeah,
Last
he
couple
was
of
stock
years?
pipe guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, but I think out of that whole team, I think he's the most consistent.
for sure.
Now, then we have the failed KTM
Well,
kids,
not
Drake and Cantrell
and
here.
not always their fault either. They were misguided from the beginning.
I don't.
Yeah, I think that's a mismanagement. I don't. From some of the insider videos that I've seen, I don't really feel like Keith's way of doing it's
I don't
the
know about
best way.
I don't know about Drake, but Cantrell Cantrell, that was mismanaged. Like that kid has a ton of talent.
So, but what do you see for outdoors out of them?
I thought they're all top 20 guys in my opinion. That whole team.
Do you agree with that,
so?
Coach? You think Cantrell and Drake are top 20?
I think talent-wise, they're top 20. I think equipment-wise, they're top 40.
Yeah.
You're like, you're just gonna make it in.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's just, and it's a shame to say that because I'd love to see all the colors be super competitive. But I mean, again, you polish a turd, it's still a turd, and we see it going back to Amart's conversation. He got screwed at TLD when he got second outdoors, and they brought up, was it Pierce Brown or Garrett Drake or one of those guys? So he gets fired for essentially providing the team a second overall outdoors. That makes a lot of sense. But then when he got to that yellow bike, man, he bought essentially a butter knife to a gunfight. You can't. It's funny how this sport has amnesia. You can't forget Cantrell and Drake. I mean, not that long ago, 3-4 years ago, they were the next big thing, hands down. Everybody wanted them, and now they get put on a different color bike, and I just think that they're really at a severe disadvantage, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Cantrell is gonna be the interesting one to me because he had a couple good finishes his last year before it all went wrong with TLD. Derek Drake, I don't know. I mean, God, that kid he's so up and down. Like one moto he's 10th, and then the next moto he's 35th. So I don't know. I think
Silly question for you guys: does the bar team, do they get to fly into races? These riders?
I have zero idea, to be honest with you.
I don't.
Okay,
I don't
I look
think
at
so.
Short.
I don't think
Because
so.
I'm looking at Short, and I'm like, if that guy can run 450 outdoors, and he's literally journeymaning it across the country in a Sprinter van, and now all of a sudden he can sleep in his own bed till Thursday, fly Friday, be a little bit fresher. I think that would be an interesting variable to factor in because, when you're looking at the outdoors, not because it's my livelihood, but you look at the fitness and then the ability for these guys to avoid illness and then be able to offset travel fatigue. Then we get into the subject of equipment. Well, looking at this team going, shit, if they come to the racetrack after driving for 3 days straight and then have to climb on a Suzuki, I mean, how many more things could you have working against you? In all fairness to like Cantrell, Drake, Short, I mean, they're all phenomenal. All four of those guys could hold major nail.
Yeah.
But we're not going to see their potential because of equipment and or travel fatigue, particularly when we get to the second half of the series.
I would really like to see John Short get an actual factory team tryout to see what he could do.
I would love to see him.
Even on a 450.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
our other Tier 2 team we got here, the Club MX, Marchbanks, Owen, Thury, Crown.
Smorgasbord.
Yeah, that's a bag of worms there. So, Thury, I have zero idea.
He's German.
Yes, that's what I know. Okay.
Crown will be in the brown.
Crown will be doing a lot
on
of
the ground
brown.
a
Yeah,
lot.
he's in the
Yep.
brown a lot. He'll
then
have
he'll just-
flashes of brilliance, probably a red bud, but
and then
I
he'll
was gonna say,
pull
yeah.
out 20 minutes into a moto, just pull off.
yeah.
Well, he's like A-Ray. He's just got to take a mid-moto break.
From the guys I know down at club and stuff, they say he's super in his own head. Like if the lever's off a millimeter, like it's screwing him up the whole day kind of thing.
Used to call him
So-
Glass Man.
What that?
Used to call him Glass Man.
Because he break all the time?
Every time you crash, you break something.
Yeah.
Call him Glass Man.
So yeah, that's Crown in the brown.
What about Jace Owen?
2021.
Because I don't know shit about Jace Owen for outdoors. All I know is super.
He had a knee
arena
injury,
cross.
so I don't know how great that's going to be either.
Okay.
All right, so we got Marchbanks
So
in
we
theory.
got Garrett Marchbanks here.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
what do you guys see Marchbanks doing? Because he's on that blue crew, but man, it's
It's got some
I
ponies
think he
behind it, though.
battles
He's
to
a
the
big
death
kid.
with Alex Martin all year.
You
You
think
think
so?
he's going to be up? You think he's going to be up in the top 5?
I think
Yes.
he'll be right around Alex Martin. Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, I see him getting a lot of top qualifiers.
Marchbanks?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You think he's
He's
that
a heater
fast?
Yeah. Well, dude, look what his rookie year at Hangtown. He went out and went fastest by like a second and a half.
That was on a PC bike. In all fairness.
Yeah, but I can guarantee that Yamaha motor ain't that far off.
Okay. I mean, I can't really argue it. 'cause
I don't know about the rest
don't-
of the bike,
I don't
but-
have any idea. I guess top 5s is okay-ish, but I see it more in like the somewhere between 5 to 15 range, I guess.
Once again, my biggest thing is where's the cardio at?
Yeah.
That's always my biggest thing. Obviously for outdoors. I mean, once again, that's an
I
obvious
heard he
statement,
waxed Phil at a moto the other day.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me at all.
At club.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
I mean, he's probably, that puts him, top 20 in the 450s. So, yeah, five to 15 guy.
I'd give Phil a little bit more credit than top 20. Jesus. A little
Bro,
more
who
credit
knows?
than top 20.
Ah, dude, it's Phil.
It's just, once again, like, taking a year off, from riding outdoors and stuff. I mean, how was he in Does anybody remember his 2019 season?
Dude, I don't remember what I had for breakfast
Do you?
this morning. You think
I
remember
don't remember.
what the fuck
No,
March Banks did in
amounts like
2019?
not enough to wow me and be like, "Hey, I remember him that year."
Do you, Coach? Do you remember how he did in 2019?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't that the year that he won Daytona and then the whole contract went sideways? And then last year he signed with Club. So that would have been the year that he did really, really well. But then he essentially got the short end of the stick. And that was where all the.
No, 20
Was
was
that
the 20.
19?
Yeah, 20 was the year he won at Daytona because that was last year. I was there.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
well, I would have to
because
say
that was
that
the
he had a
last
pretty good
normal
year.
race before everything took a shit.
Yeah. So I don't remember him in 19, to be really honest with you. So I can't say anything, which is why we're the most professional podcast out there, because we all were prepared for this. So
well, I know that he's pissed off. We all know he's got a chip on his shoulder. Like we talked about earlier, I don't think he chopped McAdoo's front wheel off because it's a PC issue.
yeah.
Does he feel jaded? Absolutely. But he's also I've talked to him a couple times. He's not the kind of guy, I'm going to sound like a crazy man here. He's not stupid enough to go out there and just smash everybody on a green bike to say, fuck you, PC, because he knows it's not going to get him a ride. That's not his personality.
Okay.
What he's interested in is showing people he can get starts. He's a good craftsman on the bike. Let's face it, Club MX's bikes have done really well this year. I think they've surprised a lot of people, maybe even themselves. And again, Marchbanks has been down this path before of he knows what the season consists of. He's got the maturity of it. He's got the experience with it. I think he'll use that to his advantage. Will he come out, completely wax everybody the first 4 rounds? No. Will you be talking about him going into the last 3 rounds? 100%. Because he knows how to manage a series. And I think the Club MX bikes are fast. And this is strictly my bias, left field spitball. What I'm noticing is that Star Yamaha is no longer that satellite team. Star Yamaha is now factory.
Yeah.
Factory 250, factory 450. Is there a potential that we may see Club with the consistency of Marchbanks, the business prowess of Brandon Bebout? Is there a way that we might see some parts start dropping down into Club MX, that now that becomes the new satellite Yamaha program?
I mean, if you look at
'Cause
where
I
they were a
don't
couple
know.
years ago, yeah, I could see it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, now you've got Marchbanks who's going to, thanks to Brandon Bebout giving him that chance. They've got good funding. They've got a good rig, good presence in the pits. Now, all of a sudden, if Marchbanks starts getting equipment that's a little bit more on par with the Star guys, and we see that Marchbanks is not afraid of anybody, he's not intimidated by anybody, I think we might see a little bit of a paradigm shift with Marchbanks. Like you guys said, fitness is going to play a big issue, but I think because he's been down this road, he knows what to expect. I don't think he's played any games in this off season, even during Supercross. I believe he's been training and gearing up for outdoors.
Well, that'll be interesting to see. I mean, I can't argue any of those points because, yeah, like you said, Star has really become the factory Yamaha team. So the extra parts obviously have to go somewhere.
It's also become pretty much the most successful team in the pits, if you really
yeah.
think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can't argue that. So
Whoever, I feel like, I don't know if it's an agent thing or somebody they got over there handling the business and contract side of things has got a way with words to get some people over there, I feel like.
I also think Will
So
Hahn plays a big part
I
of
would
that.
think that's got to be Will Hahn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will has such a great relationship with the riders. Will's been there, done that. Will's a no BS kind of guy. And don't get me wrong, I don't have Will's phone number on my phone or anything, but just the way that he treats people like real people, being a racer himself, he understands the business side of it, which I think a lot of these guys miss. So Will is a real linchpin on the selection of riders. I see him at Loretta's every year scouting. Obviously, he's got a good rapport with Reagan. So Reagan, however you want to say it. So you put those two together,
Bobby.
Yamaha shutting down the factory rig, diverting those resources over to Star, shutting down the 250 program, diverting those over to Star. Here we sit 2021, and who are we all talking about? 39 people that ride for Star. It's pretty powerful.
Well, and he's obviously not scared to spend money because he brought Tomac in here now. So that was even if he's taking less money, that's still not a cheap deal.
I still got to feel like that contract's more than
But don't
Yeah.
forget,
Some of those other guys.
that money is coming from Monster. That's not coming from Bobby Reagan.
Well, he's putting it together to make it where he can get that money.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I guess we could transition right into the Star team. I know that they're kind of the big dogs in the pits right now for the 250 effort. So there's 67 names on this list, so it'll take me a minute to read them all.
We're gonna go from the bottom up.
Well, let's start with Boy Wonder here, Levi Kitchen.
Jarrett Fry.
No, Levi Kitchen is Boy Wonder. God, I haven't been this excited for a rookie in a long time.
Really?
I've said this many times, man. I'm on the hype train, bro. I'm not getting off of it.
I think he'll come out swinging for the first two rounds, and then everybody else will find their footwork and
I just
fizzle out.
I just want to say something to you guys though. The last two rookies that I've talked about have paid off, and they backed it up in Nate Thrasher and Seth Amaker. So I'm just saying, I think Levi Kitchen's going to follow that path.
Justin's got a magic eye over here.
Oh, Jesus.
Hey,
He's
man.
got a magic
I've been
whispering
hearing
eye.
about it since he got here. It's fine.
No, he has not.
So, does he win a race?
No, does not win a race.
Okay.
I don't
well,
think he wins a
now
race.
I feel better about this
Does
conversation.
he win a moto? That's a different conversation.
I think he can win a moto. I don't. I would have to think.
Hang on a second here. Talking about winning motos and stuff, and I just want to backtrack a little bit and talk about a guy that we completely missed that was on this team last year that I think could win a couple motos.
Who?
Ty Masterpool.
Oh.
But the equipment he's on this year, I don't know.
You are
But
correct. We did miss Ty Masterpool.
Yeah.
Well, the
he
thing
on
is,
gas?
is
Yeah.
like nobody knows what he's doing though.
Yeah. I'm out
I
on
gotta
Ty-
imagine he's lining up.
If he's lining up, that throws another wrinkle into the fold. But I don't know. Like,
I don't. Even if
Ty
he's
gets hurt a
lining up,
lot.
though, yeah, I don't see him doing.
I don't know. He really, really impressed me over at
Oh.
Redbud, though.
He did.
for sure. I don't. It's kind of like with Mitchell. Like I don't know what his program. I don't know what he's doing. Like I assume he's racing outdoors, but it's like, what bike is he going to be on? What sponsors is he going to have?
Yeah.
I mean,
Anyway, continue.
So
now, if he shows up on a Yamaha, then things are changing. But
get
Levi
back
Kitchen,
to Kitchen. So he wins a moto.
Think he wins a moto.
You think he's a top 5 guy all year?
I think that he's going to be a top 5 guy here and there. I think for the most part, I think you could pretty much guarantee he's going to be top 10.
What are the chances he burns himself out?
I don't think so.
Halfway through the
No,
outdoors.
I don't, the reason why I don't believe that is because you got to think Levi Kitchen is going about this completely. He's almost 20.
Yeah.
Like we haven't had a 20-year-old rookie come in since fucking John Dowd when he did it when he was
Luckily for
30.
us, we have a professional on the phone to talk
I understand
about burnout. Coach, what do you think about this?
No, I have to concur. I mean, Kitchen has systematically moved his way to where he's at now. I think he's positioned to really embrace a long series, whether it's the guidance of Will Hahn, whether it's, like you say, being 20 years old, coming in, bringing 3 years of your balls dropped is pretty good. You know what I mean?
Yep.
There's a lot that's going to come out of it. And let's go back to Supercross for just a moment. Look at Styles Robertson, gets a whole shot at Daytona, leads for 12 of the 15 laps.
Mm-hmm.
Next weekend, I'm sorry, let me digress. What did Styles do at Daytona? Got the start, right? Gets out front, leads 13 of the 15 laps. Next weekend, gets a 22nd place start out of 20 guys. And what place does he get?
15?
Don't even remember.
Yeah.
Bad.
Exactly. And so what I'm getting at with Kitchen is, to your point, if he gets the start, I know the Yamaha can. He has no expectations except he's just going to freaking go for it. He gets that start. I don't think it's completely unrealistic to think that the guy doesn't lead it from start to finish. He's on a star Yamaha, but we go back to what we said earlier. Can he put 2 motos together for 13, 14, 15, 16 consecutive rounds? That will be the kind of the shock value, but he's not a boy, you know?
Yeah.
So can he go the distance? Absolutely. Does he have the speed? Yes. Does he have the talent, the maturity, the program? Yes. I don't think it's always, and I know it sounds so Supercross commenty. If he gets a good start, I think he'll be able to stay up front with those guys. I don't think he'll be in shock of the pace that the guys are going to maintain. I really don't. So I would agree with everything that was said about him. But you could say that with Kitchens. You could say that with any of these guys on the Star Yamaha. Because if you look at Styles Robertson, he got a good start, led the majority of the race, finished top 3. Next weekend, crappy start, pretty much finishes where he started. And then you look at Pierce Brown, that one weekend he got a 3rd. Next weekend he gets a 17th place start, finishes 15th. You're not seeing the guy coming in a 17th place start walking all the way to the front like Ferrandis did, like J-Mart did. That's the difference between a guy that's going to become a champion and somebody that's going to be a Cantrell, Marchbanks. Hate to say it, but that's just the reality. So can Kitchens go out and do it? Hell yeah. I think 20 years old coming in as a rookie, let's face it, who's he get to train with during the week?
Everyone.
Pretty fast group of guys.
Yep.
And if you believe the hype, a lot of people, and this is coming from Mookie, he just straight up said, he's like, look, 25 minutes into the moto, Kitchen is starting to walk away from these guys. Mm-hmm. And for Mookie, Mookie doesn't have to say that. Like, he's not on the I understand they're teammates, but he's on the 450 side of things. He's not on the 250 side. He doesn't have he didn't have a dog in that race. Like, for him to say that, like, I don't know why he would just make that shit up. Like, he's not just going to tell that to anybody. So, yeah, I'm all about it. And I think eventually, that Kitchens is going to be a 250 champion, both Supercross and outdoors.
Yeah, I can't argue that
Yeah,
fact.
I wouldn't go.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. Whether that manifests itself in 3 years or 5, it's coming. It's just a matter of, and I hate to bring up this word early in the season, it's all about managing fatigue. Mm-hmm. It's about managing illness. It's about managing injuries. That's all. Because if you look at anybody that we're going to talk about for the rest of the show, the only thing that set them back, injuries. J-Mart, Cooper, Nichols. I mean, the whole Star Yamaha since for Craig. I mean, if we're just talking about Star right now, think about that. Any one of those 6 guys could win. Christian Craig, Kitchen, Thrasher, Cooper, Nichols, J-Mart. None of us would be surprised if any of them got a moto win. None of us would be surprised if they got an overall weekend win.
Yep.
What's it going to come down to? Managing fatigue, illness, all, like you said, fitness coming in. And I don't want the listeners to get bored when I make this comment, but the bottom line is when you're coming into a season that's this long, once the season begins, it's no longer about building fitness. It's just about maintaining and managing fatigue. Mm-hmm. I know that sounds crazy. You're not maintaining fatigue, but you're trying to offset it by traveling, trying to recover, repack, travel, race, repack, travel, practice. I mean, it's always going to boil down to the management of fatigue at this elite level. And look at your notes that you guys have down for Star. Look at how many guys just in the Star camp could win every weekend. 6 guys.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree.
Every weekend.
I agree. And they still even have more amateur kids coming with Nick Romano and Matt LeBlanc, and I think they have another kid too. Maybe that's it. But yeah, I mean,
just those 2 right now.
Yeah. So.
Well, let's keep moving on through Star. So Thrasher and Fry. So let's start with Fry. Is he going to do something outdoors?
He did last year, though, at the end of the year. He was top 10.
Okay. So
he just had a bad Supercross season.
Okay. So, but
which, I mean, I know that sounds like a dumb comment to say.
He's at the bottom of the scrotum pole right now.
See, that's the thing, though, like Coach just said. I mean, I think he might be the one guy you could kind of leave off of getting a win.
Yeah.
But if you want to talk about him being at the bottom end of that pool, I would still say that's 10 to 12.
That's the bottom of that pool is a pool I would like to be in.
Exactly, 10 to 12, right? Like, do we disagree with that? Like,
no, that's like a solid. I mean, that's where I see him is somewhere in that range, and he could have some breakout rides at a couple places if he gets a start. But I think that's
but 10 to 12 though. I mean, if you want to say you're at the, nobody wants to be the slowest guy on your team, but if 10 to 12 is like the low part of the pool, like that's not bad.
No, that's okay. What about Thrasher, though?
Let's throw in a different variable, though. It's no secret that when these teams know that they're not re-signing somebody, it's not atypical for parts to start to disappear off of a bike.
Oh yeah,
that never happens. That's a conspiracy theory.
So do all of a sudden Fry's on a bike that's relatively stock? Just gives them another reason to say, oops, sorry, it's not going to work out. We're just going to have to go ahead and put Kitchen in there. I mean, we already know Kitchen's in, Fry's out. That's a done deal.
Yeah.
But does Fry, essentially, are they giving him equipment that's even remotely close to anything else in regards to that? And if he doesn't get that, he won't even be in the top 20, 25 because he's just going to be at an equipment disadvantage that's out of control. So just keep that in mind too. A lot of times the listeners will watch it on TV, and I could give you 12 guys over the last 5 years that, once they knew they weren't re-signing them, it was amazing. They didn't go from being in the top 8 to 15, 12-ish range. They're all of a sudden coming off the start in 32nd and finishing 25th and 26th. And people go, oh, they suck. They threw anchor. No, they're pretty much on a bone stock bike at this point.
I really don't know what you're talking about. It's all just a conspiracy theory, like the flat Earth or the moon landing.
Exactly. There you go. But that would be the thing I'd look out for Fry, because I know that he definitely doesn't want to go down in a ball of fury like this. But I don't know, I don't want any of the listeners to think that I know that Star has done this previously. I'm not insinuating that, but I do know that there's been a history of various teams. Let's leave that key term, various teams, that when we're not re-signing you, equipment just doesn't work as well.
Well, Coach, I can tell you for sure that this did happen, because I had a certain source that was on the Star team that said it did happen. So there you go.
There you go. Well, and I know somebody that happened onto another color team that absolutely unequivocally happened. Jeez. And so for the listeners that think we're making it up, I've got an example. You've got an example. And then before all the keyboard assholes go off, well, give us names. I don't like lawyers and I don't like lawsuits. So, no, I won't be saying what color team it was. So that's it.
I'll say it in the comments.
On to Thrasher.
When they start commenting,
I knew
I'll
about
throw
the
it out
one
there.
for sure.
That's it. On to Thrasher we go.
On to Thrasher we go. So, Thrasher, he's going to be on the full race bike all summer. So, what do you got?
3 years.
Oh, yeah, for the next 3 years. So what do you guys think?
He deserves it, too.
Well, yeah, I know he deserves it.
I kind of forgot about the hype. I think I told you guys this in the last show, but I kind of forgot about the hype that he had.
Believe the hype.
We should repop those shirts.
That's good.
Oh, we should remake those shirts.
Remake the Believe the Hype shirt.
And just put a different name on there every week.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Exactly.
We should.
I need you to work up a design there, Cole, and we'll get them.
We'll just get a few different names and just pop them in there for each race.
What number do you want to put on there? You want to put any local guys on there?
Oh God, don't even get me started, dude.
Christ. Anyway, so does Thrasher win any motos this year, or maybe a podium's the top of his game outside? Okay,
podiums.
A lot of them, or not a lot of them?
I don't know about a lot of them, but I think that
under more than 5.
You talk about overall or just motos?
Podiums.
No, podiums in a moto or overall?
Just in a moto.
Over 5.
Wow, that's a bold prediction.
Did anybody see him winning 2 Supercross races from the LCQ, no less?
No, I didn't see that.
So that really, that's like you can't.
There's been a lot of things happening in the last 6 weeks I didn't see coming. I didn't see him winning 2 races.
I mean, I could say
Tomac going to Star.
I'm
fucking out of it.
I could say that Thrasher's going to go 1-1 at the first 3, and nobody would be like, "Well, that's fucking stupid." Like the fact that he won 2 Supercross mains.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, even if he wins an overall, it's not like it's going to shock me, at this point.
I think he's going to be really good. I think that him and Kitchen, if Amar is kind of the forgotten guy of the season, I think him and Thrasher and Kitchen are going to be 2 of the most talked about guys that aren't expected to do that well.
I agree with that. I agree. Those 2 are going to feed off each other, I think.
Because they are friends.
They're buddies. And Thrasher's got that momentum coming out of the Supercross season.
Yeah. No,
confidence is a big thing.
God, Star's set up for a long time.
They are set for a while.
Jesus. That's just ridiculous.
All right. So this is my pick. We're moving on here now. This is my pick.
For the title?
No, for the biggest letdown.
Oh, I already know where you're going.
Of the summer here.
Oh. No, never mind. I know. At first, I thought you were going to what name you were going to say. Now I really know what name.
Who do you think I'm going to say?
I think you're going to say Colt Nichols.
Absolutely not.
Oh, you're going to say Justin Cooper.
Justin Cooper.
Cooper.
Justin Cooper will not do anything outdoors this summer. He's going to have a Supercross hangover like crazy. I don't think he's going to be a super big letdown, but I don't think the Supercross thing. How many times have we seen Cooper come out like a ball of fire? I will just put out there, I'll be surprised if he wins this year.
A moto or overall? Because I got to disagree with all of that.
I think he'll win motos for sure.
In overall.
That dude's a starting machine.
I don't think he gives a shit about outdoors.
I know he just won a Supercross title, so he kind of made everybody look dumb, myself included, because I always pick against him.
Yeah.
But I still could never get over the fact that every outdoor season, maybe you can take last year because of what it was and the fact that he came in injured, he always drops anchor halfway into the season.
Well, yeah. And I think it's going to be worse this year. I think he's going to have a Supercross hangover. I'm 100% on that. He might win I'll be surprised if he wins more than 2 motos.
Here's the thing with Cooper, and even though his starts got better, his starts are still inconsistent, and he still has a tendency when he's working his way through the pack to do bonehead things.
He does do some dumb shit.
And we know with how loaded, and we say it every year, but this 250 class is loaded once again. He's not coming from 15th and winning a race. I'd be surprised if he could even come from top 15 and get, or 15th and get top 5. And once again, nobody on his team, because this, for the longest time, it's pretty much been Frenchie that's kind of been the guy that's been faster than him on that team.
Yeah.
But now you can look at everybody, if you want to take Jarrett Fry out of that, pretty much everybody on his team is just as fast as him.
Yeah.
So they ain't going to move out of his way just because, we're teammates. So, I don't know.
Like I said, I see a maximum of 2 moto wins. I don't see any overall wins, and I think this is a mailed-in summer season for him.
You agree, Coach, or no?
I totally agree. When I was on Daniel Blair's show, I said that Cooper is just too mental. To your point exactly, you've got Christian Craig. He's going to come back healthy. You got J Mart. He comes back healthy. You got Colt Nichols. There's 3 guys on his own team that's, pulling a line from Jet Lawrence. They're already getting free rent in his head to begin with.
Yep.
Those 3 guys are veterans. Those 3 guys know how to win. They know how to manage. I said it before. I'll say it again. Justin Cooper, he's a mental head case. And I don't say that derogatorily, but I'm saying at this elite level, you can't have that mental wishy-washy that he's had. And like you said, the things came together. You got to be in it to win it. I'm the first one to admit that. But if you look at who he was racing against and how shallow the field was, he made it to the end of the season. Others didn't. That's part of the game. But I think he will not have the mental, whether it's a Supercross hangover, which I agree with you, whether the fact it's a long outdoor series, it's hot, it requires a lot of determination, requires a lot of grit. If he gets a whole shot, he's graceful. Love to watch him. Great. Gets a little bit of adversity, and he comes off and says the bike sucks and everyone's a dickhead and it's everyone else's fault. And I just don't see that working for him when we go outdoors. There's 2, and I know we say it every year, the field's extremely deep, but if we're only talking just the depth of Star Yamaha, there will be 0 room for excuses because everyone's on the exact same bike with the exact same resources. And I think you're going to see a lot of weekends where it's not going to be abnormal for Yamaha to be getting the top 3 in both motos and the overall. Just sheer statistics alone with the roster that they have. Look at your piece of paper. Is it unrealistic to think Star will get top 3 in both motos? I don't think so.
I don't think it's unrealistic to see them get top 3 in both motos at some point. I don't think it'll be a regularity, though. There's a lot of other names on some other teams here that we're going to talk about that I think will break that up almost on a moto by moto basis. Agree. Could it happen? Yes, I 100% agree. And this is the only team
that's the team most likely.
Yeah, that will make this happen. But
look at Cooper though.
Yeah,
look at Cooper mentally against J Mart, Nichols, and Craig on
nothing.
Star.
Yeah.
Look at Cooper against the mental toughness of Faulkner on Cowie, and then look at the mental toughness of the Lawrence brothers on Honda. I think Hampshire will be big on Husky. Volan's going to be a beast and a half on a KTM. Cooper won't stand a snowball's chance in hell against these guys because they are mental monsters.
Yeah.
And until he gets that mental game under control, he's too wishy-washy.
Mm-hmm.
I love his story. I love the fact that he went to public school. I love the fact that he didn't have the stellar amateur career, blah, 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 blah. We're seeing more and more of those. Those are awesome. But when you walk around and every time that you get a slight little, blemish on your results, bike sucks is all I ever hear. Bike sucks. Still struggling on hit setup. Stop. Just stop. Get your head in the game. Get your head out of your butt. And if you want to really be competitive against your own teammates, and I'm not at the test track, but if I know the way J Mart likes to play the game, I'm sure Nichols is good at it as well. They know that they can break Cooper at the test track, and they do it every chance they get. That's my biased opinion.
Yeah.
Well, from the sounds of it, Cooper's already getting waxed at the when they're doing heaters or sprints or whatever they want to call it, simulations.
I bet those test track mind games are so fun.
Yeah, from what it sounds like, obviously J Mart's not there because he's doing his own thing. But yeah, from the sounds of it, Cooper, he can start out front because we know he can get, when he does get starts, like Coach said, and we've all seen it, he sprints like crazy. But from the sounds of it, Nichols, Thrasher, Kitchen, they're walking away from him halfway into the moto.
Yep.
So
They're doing it during the week, and then it's in his head on the weekend. And, unlike the Bob Hannas, the Baileys, the Wardies, those guys, they don't like, like the old saying goes, they love to win, but they hate to lose.
Yep.
And I just don't see that in Cooper the way I see it, and J. Mark Nichols and Craig, if we're talking just about star.
No.
Well, nobody likes Justin Cooper either. So,
Well, we can move on from Justin Cooper to the guy I think that's going to shock a lot of people this summer, which would be Colt Nichols.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think so
100%.
too. I just hope that he can find the non-injury way that he made it through Supercross, if that makes sense.
I agree.
I mean, when's the last time we've seen him complete a full outdoor season?
I
But
think
here's
he'll be
the
okay.
good news. Chase Sexton is not in the class anymore, so he doesn't have him jumping on his wrist. He will have a good season.
Yeah,
He will
that's
have
true
a
too.
good season because Sexton is out of the way.
This is
All
also
right.
true.
So,
Good point.
what is Nichols' ceiling then? Because me and Cole are high on the Nichols train. I know, Travis, you don't have a problem with Cole. I don't know if you're necessarily a fan, but
I'm a pretty big fan. I just listened to the Gypsy Tales.
Oh, yeah, his story?
today.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
That's
that
a
was
pretty cool
fucking
story,
Good.
yeah.
I had
And,
heard
yeah,
that.
it was
so
very awesome.
what do we think his ceiling is?
I think he's going to win multiple motos.
Okay, see, even being a Colt fan, I don't know if I can agree with that one.
Really?
I don't know. I don't know if his, and I know I just said this about him walking, Cooper, but I think that's more of an endurance thing. I just don't know if his sprint speed at the beginning of the motos is good enough to do that, unless he starts out front, which obviously well could.
I am going to steal one of Coach's terms, and his athletic maturity is going to carry him at the end of the motos.
So you think he could possibly?
Forward.
You think he could possibly pull? Or are you saying championship? Like,
I don't know necessarily championship.
because
I think he's going to be in the talk.
Because we're going to give our
Pretty
championship
heavy.
picks later, but like,
Yeah, I think it's going to be really tough for him going up against at least Hunter Lawrence and Jeremy Martin.
I think he's going to surprise a lot of people towards the end of the motos.
I think he's going to be really good, and I agree with it. Like I said, I've heard about him walking everybody other than maybe Kitchen, but I don't know. We've never seen him have that super raw speed outdoors.
Have you listened to the Gypsy Tales thing?
Yeah.
You listened to that whole podcast?
I didn't listen to the podcast. I listened to him. I've heard. I didn't know that the full thing behind that, but I had heard.
Oh, you should listen to the whole podcast.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of good insights in there into what he's done differently as to why he just won that Supercross title.
Oh, yeah.
And why I now think he's going to be a threat going into outdoors here.
I think his ceiling outdoors is podiums, but I think on an average, I think that he's 5 to 8. There's so many guys that we still have not talked about that I would take over him for an entire season because of their sprint speed is better than his.
I think if he takes all the weight of that earring off when he rides, I think
no,
you're
man, it's
going
going
to
to get bigger.
It's going
It's going to get bigger.
He needs to take it off during the
It's going
race.
to get a little icier. I think
It's
it's
got a
going to
little
get a
icier.
diamond or
Probably
two.
going
Yeah,
to.
maybe.
But
Yep,
again,
no.
I think
he just got a fat
If
paycheck.
he takes that off, it's a lot faster. He's not held down quite as much.
Look,
but
I'm
still think he wins multiple motos.
I'm so happy for him though. Either way, no matter what he does, like I said it on our I haven't been this happy for a guy in a long time.
Yeah,
Like
I dig Colt Nichols.
he's awesome, but man, we've just, like I said, never seen that outright raw speed from him, and we know that you got to have that outdoors.
Athletic maturity at the end of the
I don't disagree with that. I just
carry us forward.
I say that he gets a couple podiums, and I think he's 5 to 8 most of the season.
I highly disagree with that.
Okay. No, that's fine.
Like
That's
I
fine.
said, I think he's going to be
If he
of a
does-
top 5 guy all year with multiple moto wins.
If he does, man, I'll be just as happy for him as I was in Supercross. I think it's awesome. I think he's one
Yeah.
of the coolest dudes in the pits.
Yes.
I don't know.
Now, does anybody on this phone call not have J-Mart as their favorite? For
Well,
outdoors?
hold on a second. Hold
Oh,
on a
boy.
second.
Now, hold
no,
on.
no,
We're
no, no.
backtracking.
Yeah, Coach was talking about Christian Craig, but is he riding the 250 outdoors? I thought he was riding the 450
I thought he
outdoors.
was 450 guy.
Do you know something that we don't, Coach?
No, I think he'll be on 250 because I don't know. I haven't spoken to anybody that said it's definitive that he's going to 450 or not.
Okay.
So I don't know, because Mookie was Supercross only.
Yep.
And then, what kind of, we've got Plessinger there, of course, and then we've got Ferrandis. So I don't know. I haven't heard whether he is or isn't.
I know he was training a lot on the 450
Let
during
me
the break there.
I'll put it. Let me put a text in while we're talking, and I'll
look
get
at this. We're gonna break some more
God, we're
news.
getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a first for us.
I
All
would
right,
say-
so let's move him to the side of the J Mart thing. Your question about not being the title favorite. Is that your question? Like,
Does anybody think he's not the title favorite on this call?
It depends on his shoulder.
Well,
That's all I'm worried about.
That's I think our big question mark for everyone here, because we've all talked about this off the air. I've talked about it with Coach. I've talked about it with you guys. The shoulder is
bad.
The question mark, and it's bad from what we understand.
If that shoulder doesn't hinder him at all this season, it's not even going to be close, in my opinion.
Now, Coach, you've talked to him. Are we talking like if he tips over and puts that shoulder down, it's going to be bad? Or are we talking like he's going to have to ragdoll fairly decently for that to really be an issue?
Yeah, it's the latter of the two. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to take a Tomac slam to blow both shoulders out the way he did that summer on Geico.
Okay.
I know that he's put a tremendous amount of time into rehab. I know he's strong. But on the flip side of that, when you ride a motorcycle that's significantly faster, we know faster speeds means a quicker stop. So that's going to be the idea here. I just got confirmation he will be on 450 for outdoors.
Okay.
For Craig.
That's still cool, though. I mean,
yep.
I think that'd be another person to talk about. I think that's actually going to be better for him. But.
Yeah. I was actually going to be surprised if he came back and told us he was going to be on 250. I was like, wow.
Yeah, exactly. Oh. But I think it's great for him because it gives him a chance to show his prowess on that 450, even though we've seen it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to J Mart, I think the shoulders are good to start racing. But then again, how many times have we seen the quote unquote air quotes here, a practice injury on Thursday, and now all of a sudden we can't line up, or we're at 60% instead of 100%. But who else? I don't mean to get ahead of ourselves here, but we could bring that same question mark with Faulkner. We could bring that same question mark next to Styles Robertson, Volan, everybody, Hampshire, everybody that didn't race Supercross because of that quote unquote injury. I think they would all have that same asterisk beside themselves. But I think J Mart is ready to race. I think he's ready to compete. What I do like about Jeremy at this point in his career, I think he's smart enough. He knows that. I mean, let's everybody kind of take a deep breath, zoom out to 10,000 feet. J Mart knows this is essentially his last chance. If he goes out at 40%, he knows he's not going to be able to redeem himself. He's not going to be able to change the narrative around his ability.
Yeah.
So I think he's in a unique position. He has a great relationship with Bobby and those guys. If he wasn't ready to go racing, I think they'd be cool to say, look, he may need to get, a pay cut, but I think they would say, okay, you're not ready this year. We'll bring you back next year. Because let's face it, he is an outdoor champion. He does have the resume to justify that kind of a request. But I know Jeremy well enough. He's not the kind of guy that's going to try to ride through pain. He knows he's got to rehab before he can go race. He's done that. He's done it all Supercross season long. I think he's ready to go. Is he at 100%? No, none of us are naive that way, but I don't think that he's fragile either. As soon as I say that, we'll hear tomorrow that he had a fourth gear, high-speed get-off and looked like Tomac, and we're all eating crow now that this has gone public. So.
God, I hope not.
It wouldn't be the first time.
If he gets a start, I'll go so far as to say, because we know he's going to get starts, but if it's a consistent thing with him, I will not be shocked if he's going out and beating everybody by 40 seconds.
40.
That is not.
That might be excessive.
No, it's not for
No.
me.
What about
No
your
way.
boy Hunter?
That's totally realistic because you got to remember how close he was to running Ferrandis down last year on a horsepower-deprived Honda. Now he's on that Ferrandis
and
bike.
those two were
Look
way
out.
out.
And see, and I was actually going to bring this up. I started thinking about it. How many times did we sit up here after one of the races and we talk about with Jeremy, when he'd get a bad start, he'd be pushing through, other than Ferrandis, he'd be running a second and a half faster than everybody, and he'd get to the top 5 and stall out. And we always kind of sat up here and scratched, well, why is he doing that? Why? And this is my take. Now, probably because Coach talks to him all the time, like he knows different. But my take was on this, I think he was doing that because in his mind it was either 1-2. It was either I'm going to win this and I'm going to win the championship or I'm going to get second. If by the time he got in the top 5, everybody else was 20 seconds up, I almost feel like in his mind that he thought, especially knowing that he wasn't going to come back to Geico, what is the point of putting all this effort in right now to go blow myself out just to move up a spot? because it just never made sense to me. How are you coming from 15th or whatever he was coming from, get into the top 5, and then just stall out? His pace would go away. He would almost just kind of get sucked into the who's ever in front of him. He wasn't trying to push forward. And I could only come up with it had to have something to do with, well, what is my motivation to keep taking myself out just to get one more spot?
Yeah.
Because it was championship or bust for him.
Yeah.
Now I think that he's back on the star bike. He won the 2 championships with him. If he's getting a start, I'm serious. I can totally see him. And talking about Hunter, as much as I love Hunter, Jeremy Martin is the fastest 250 guy in the world on that star bike. And if you'd have been on that star bike last year, and you guys know I love Frenchie, I don't think it would have been even close either. I think that he would have walked Frenchie. I really do. I have that much faith in him. I mean, you got to think about what he did in those star days. Other than,
Yeah, I mean, he came out swinging that one year, and people were talking undefeated.
Yeah. Now, I'm not going to say he's going to go undefeated because that's a lot.
No, there's no way in this.
But if he's getting starts and that shoulder is good, I don't think it's going to be close. I really don't. I think the other guys will get moto wins because I don't think he's going to rip every start. But if he gets a start, I mean, talking about the A-Mart vlog, I know it's A-Mart and he's not 100% healthy. When you go out and do a 140 and A-Mart's doing 145s on a 450 at Millville, no less, there's something to that. Yeah. So I don't know. I think that J-Mart's just he's next tier compared to these guys.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think any of us have any arguments for that.
That's why I don't. We go back to silly season and stuff, but he wants a 450 ride and stuff. I see Cowie trying to make a way to save him a spot. Maybe I don't know.
I guess I'm a little biased because I've always been on the Jeremy Martin train, so I look at things differently through my eyes when it comes to him. And I'm kind of, I've said it year after year, always going to win a Supercross title. He's finally going to get it. Something happens, but like I can't take away from what he did all those years when he was winning championships.
I'd put a number 6 jersey on my wall. For sure.
I mean, exactly. Like you can't take away with what he was doing. Like, and now he's on a bike that is not underpowered. I don't know. I just don't see it being close, guys. I just don't.
Yeah, probably not, unless he hits the deck. But all right, we beat that horse enough. So let's move on here. Next team. Let's go to some of these teams here that I don't think are going to do as great, and then we'll come back.
Are they steel frame teams?
Yes, the last 2 heavy hitters.
Wow.
So let's start with KTM here. So Caleb Russell is on the team to ride outdoor 250s, but he has
got hurt real bad.
Yeah, a real gnarly
been
crash, I
fucked
guess.
up.
Didn't he hit like a fence or something?
I don't know if we're going to see him. Coach, did you hear anything about him when you were out in Cali there?
No, just the pretty big get off, lots of broken ribs, smashed up pretty good. Now, one thing I will say, there's just a unique determination about off-road guys. They seem to do really well when they ride hurt. I hate to say that. You look at Plessinger's early success, coming from the woods into moto, he just seemed to be able to take bigger blows and still keep racing. So wouldn't count Caleb out as of yet. I think time will tell here, but unfortunately with the sport that we have where everybody thinks it's cool to be hush hush instead of letting us know what kind of hell these guys are going through. But I think if Caleb can get to that starting line, we saw the one race that he did, 4 years ago? Mm-hmm. He's no slouch on a motocross track. That's for darn sure.
Especially the mud.
And not to let this conversation go down a bunny trail. Who can haul the mail on a dirt bike that was an off-road guy was, just
Ricky Dietrich.
Charlie Mullins.
Oh yeah, yep.
And if it wasn't for Charlie Mullins breaking his wrist at the JGR track, I've been around Charlie a lot on a motocross track. The guy's unbelievable. There's not much that the pro moto guys could do that he couldn't. And so for anybody to think that Caleb's just an off-road guy, I think you need to pay attention a little bit closer. Those guys can ride really well. But yeah, I've heard that Caleb is pretty banged up. I don't know that we'll see him the first couple rounds, but I think we will see him towards the end of the season.
Okay.
Top 5 if it's a mud
race. There's a bigger reason why I think you're going to see Caleb, and that goes back to what we said earlier. I think they're shaking down a second 250 ride, which I think is where Hunter will end up within a couple of years.
Okay. And then the other guy on that team, Max Volan.
He just said is going to light the world on fire.
Yeah, Coach sounded pretty high on him.
Flying at the test tracks. Flying. So, Coach, what do you got on him?
I mean, we were all kind of like in the middle on Max Volan, like not really thinking he was going to set the world on fire. At least Justin and I. And to hear your comment on that, Coach, we were kind of blown away by that.
Yeah.
So,
Which comment are you guys referring to?
Max Volan.
The comment you just said about him, he's going to be a beast.
Yeah, well, if you watch that guy on Instagram, I love to watch him because he's a little bit of a mix of a Jeremy McGrath on a BMX track with Connor Fields on a BMX bike. He's doing stuff with those daddy long legs that you just shouldn't be able to do on a dirt bike. I love the way he moves the bike around. He's extremely dynamic on the bike. The other thing is, obviously, with his dad and his uncle, they've got a completely different perspective on how to raise a racer in this crazy ass industry that we love, because their dad and his uncle have done it, whether it was in Europe, whether it was back here. They kind of remind me a lot of Tomac, where John Tomac, Eli's dad, said, look, if you're looking to sign Eli and have a champion in a year, we're not your guy. And I can see them having I can see them having the same conversation with Roger. Like, look, I mean, is it any surprise that they tried taking take Max over to Europe, get him to go fast on a 125? It was all part of a bigger plan that I don't think many of the listeners and the viewers watch. But yeah, he got hurt over there and had to come back, or I think COVID hit and he had to come back. But Max Volan's going to be a force to be reckoned with. And this may surprise a lot of people. Max's dad could give two shits whether or not he comes out and wins this year. Talk to him in 2 years. Talk to him in 2 years. They expect him to win, and he will. But if he's got the opportunity, is he going to lay down? No. Is he going to ride over his head and yard dart himself? Absolutely not. But raw speed, talent, finesse, the ability to read the track. I say this as anytime anyone asks me about Max, every young kid needs to watch Max Volan on how to ride a dirt bike. He's unbelievable. He's bringing the Jeremy McGrath back. He's bringing back the durability of an Emig or a Stanton. Max is good. But the cool part is he's not going to ride over his head. He's not worried about a contract. He's not worried about his future. It's a very systematic approach that his dad and his uncle have in place, and it's just come to fruition. I mean, I don't know if you guys watched it. Did you guys happen to watch the race at Loretta's in the 125 class?
No. I watched the highlights and the when they followed him around for a day.
Unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
He gets a mediocre start, and he's got the poise of fill in the blank. A McGrath, an RC, a Stewart. Just he knows where he needs to go. He's thinking 2 turns ahead, very methodical, doesn't rush, and just walked right through Schoolboy, which is a pretty competitive class. I mean, it wasn't a lay down class, but by the end of the race, he's 8, 10, 12 seconds in front, but yet first lap he was in 12th.
Yeah.
And don't hold me to that exact number. I'm just saying the guy's got what we refer to in the performance world as athletic poise. Right now, Cooper Webb has the athletic poise. Max has that same thing when he's on the track. He's never rushing. He's very systematic. He's very calculated. And that's going to, in the back end of his career, sans injuries, you're going to be talking a lot about Max. Maybe not this year. He'll be there, but he's not going to be walking the dog like he will be in 2 years, hands down.
I think he's going to come out swinging at Paula. He knows that track like the back of his hand. I think it's going to be very interesting. I think that if he wants another kid, that if he gets a start, knowing that track like he does, and all the videos have been of him at Paula, it's going to be really interesting because it's kind of like what we said with Ferendis there last year. He rides that track all the time. He knows where to make up time when it breaks down, when it gets square edged. So I don't know. I don't really have a prediction for where he's going to be the entire year, but I do know those California rounds. He's going to be up there. I just don't know where the rest of the year. And his cardio is not going to be an issue when we go east when it gets hot. I'm not worried about that. But some of these other guys are. But the California rounds, yeah, he's going to be up there. He's going to be good. I don't really have a prediction from because I just, like Coach said, I don't think that they're putting a lot of emphasis on this year.
No.
Nope. So. Not at all.
Okay.
But he's fun to watch.
So, next team I got on here, Gas, and we're going to have fun.
Gas, monkey.
Gas, monkey, fun.
Down in the brown, Pierce Brown.
Hey,
Pierce-
man,
Pierce
stop
Brown.
making fun of Pierce.
Pierce Brown's down in the brown, bro.
Yeah, but when he's on 2 wheels, he's forward.
Okay, well, when you're on 2 wheels and when you're down in the brown, are A, like you said, 2 different things, and B, he's in the brown a lot.
I don't think he can handle.
Hander.
Oh, I'm half asleep. I don't think he can handle Keef in his ear.
No.
Or
I
his
don't
mechanic.
think so either.
I don't know, either one. I don't know. I just think the system over there is whack.
I think he's done after
I
this
think-
year with factory teams, as far as I
think Pierce pulls out halfway into the season with a mysterious injury.
maybe.
No, I think so.
I was going to say, I don't see a lot. He's going to be in the motos. That's what I have on Pierce Brown.
Ceiling 8th, pulls out halfway in.
Yeah.
And Tyler Queef is pissed.
Tyler Keefe is always pissed.
Queef.
Whatever, man. Michael Mosman. We might as well just go to Mosman.
Mosman?
Hazard on the track.
Hazard. He's a hazard.
He's a hazard. He's going to piss more people off.
What, you guys think he needs to put one of them slow moving or not?
I think he needs to put like an
slow
orange
moving
cone.
triangle.
on
Yeah,
it.
the orange triangle, the hazard
yeah.
triangle.
Yeah, and then the blinking light anytime he's around people. Here's my prediction for Mosman. Super, super fast, crashes a lot, pissing a lot of people off, and Jet's going to take him out.
Yes.
That's it. That's all I got for you.
How many times does he get flipped off by Jet?
17 times.
24
Nine of-
motos, 17 times he gets flipped off.
9 of them are in practice.
I don't think either one of them will be anywhere near each other.
No, I don't think so either. But I think Mosman will be good. But all joking aside, everything I said, I seriously think that's how his season's going to go.
I think his ceiling's top 5.
He's going to be super fast. He's going to crash a lot, and he's going to piss a lot of people off.
Yeah. I don't see him doing a whole lot.
You guys think he'll be in top 5 though? Seriously?
Oh, I don't. Travis does.
I would
I
say-
don't.
I'd say 8 to 10.
Occasionally, but that's
I don't.
his high point of the year.
I don't even think he'll be there because I think he's going
Is
to crash.
is that at a finish line or after a good start?
That's actually that's when he gets lapped because he crashed 5
Oh,
times
geez.
in a moto.
Yeah, I just don't see. I agree with you. I don't think he'll be close enough to Jet to have to let Jet know what he thinks about him. I think Mosiman, again, I hate to put him in the same category of Cooper. He's too much of a head case.
Oh, he is.
You know,
Yeah.
he's just too much of a head case, and I don't know what his family knows or is tight with TLG or whatever. I just don't. I'm very surprised that he was even retained for the position that he got. He was on one of the easier coasts, in my opinion, so he got to look good. I mean, no disrespect because these guys are all faster than I'll ever want to be, but you know, outside of his top 4 positions, if you look at the coast, it was essentially the only 4 factory bikes. You know, so I'm not that blown away that he was the 4th place guy out of 4 factory bikes, and that was on both coasts as well. But yeah, when we go outdoors, I personally don't see most of them being. I don't even see him in the top 5. If he's there in the first turn, he won't be there at the finish line. That's for sure. I think because he's created some animosity with some people, that's going to hurt him.
Yeah.
And he's his own worst enemy. I just hope he doesn't start to get the reputation of a Freezy or something like that, because then they're going to start chopping him pretty quick.
Well, maybe.
Look, Jet's going to flip him off in the pits then.
Oh, absolutely.
Like Honda's
or
parked
as they-
across from gas, and he's just standing there with his
just
finger
middle
up.
finger.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
just standing out there like, get off my lawn.
Hey, Mike.
Or I like his comment, when people ride like squids, I just want to snap them in half. I love that comment.
Yeah.
That was awesome when he was on dirt shirts. I loved it. So
He's just
good stuff.
He's just a hazard, man.
All right, last steel frame team here. Husky. So, RJ Hampshire. Haven't seen him in a while because he got hurt. Shocking, right? That kid just breaks every time he hits the ground.
Is he gonna endo to the moon again like he did at WW?
Oh, I forgot about that already.
Although it's not,
forget
we're not
about
going
that.
back to WW, so he doesn't,
Really?
Yeah, not going back to WW.
I
Does he
look
make
at
it through the whole
Yeah.
outdoor season without getting hurt?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so where do you put him then?
I'd see a couple of those weird random breakout rides that he has. I mean, like Red Buddy getting an overall.
He's gonna go
and shit.
9th to 4th and at least 7 motos.
Jesus, good. That was very specific.
That was very.
Yeah, and he'll just get a random ass moto win.
I think if he's gonna get a moto win anywhere, it'll be because we're going back to Budds Creek. He's got good juju with Budds Creek.
Okay. Now, is he like a top 5 dude? Is that what you're seeing out of him?
Speed wise, you could
with
say
that blue train. It's pretty hard.
speed wise, you could say RJ is top 5 all day long. I know that you're not the big RJ guy, but speed wise, I don't think you can deny he is one of the fastest dudes in the world riding a 250. But
Yeah.
he has a lot of stuff that he makes hard for himself.
Yeah.
Putting it together is a whole different story for RJ Hampshire.
If he can put it together, I don't see why not. He can't be top 5, but I don't see it because he never has.
I just don't see
Is
him
this
making
who
it through
he
the whole
is?
year. This is who he is.
I haven't said that in a while.
No, you haven't.
I could see him getting at a podium, getting a moto win at Budds. I stand by that because, like I said, he just has good juju with that place. But I think for the most part, I think RJ's just going to do what RJ does like every season. Be really, really fast at times and just head scratchers other times. I mean, that's what he's done essentially his entire career, right?
Yeah, he just there's just a couple rides here and there that's awesome, and outside of that, he's just a dude.
I just hope he doesn't, like I said, ragdoll himself from the moon.
I hope yeah either. Shoot, Jalik.
No, I don't want to talk about Jalik. I can't.
Okay,
I don't want to talk about Jalik.
skipping over Jalik. Does anybody know if Robertson's riding outdoors?
Well, Coach, do you know?
Is he hurt?
Because we had the torn ACL, I thought.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that he's got the torn ACL. I have not seen any documentation that he actually got it fixed. But, he bowed out of Supercross, and that usually is a good sign that they're going to try to get ready. I would say you see him try to start the first couple rounds, and then we'll find out real quick if he got it fixed or not.
That'll be
Go
tough.
ahead, excuse me.
No, I was just going to say, that's going to be tough.
That is a quick turnaround on an ACL.
Yeah,
If they
because isn't that
got-
like,
if they
six,
got it
isn't that like
fixed.
6 to 8 months?
RJ, if he's on the RJ program and whatever he did to his ACL.
Oh, you mean like getting injected?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, sorry. Did I speak out of turn? My bad. I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't
Shit,
mean that.
are we recording?
I didn't mean that.
Damn it.
Hey, the
Yeah.
red light's not on.
Actually, it is.
Anyways.
Yeah, those
Well,
knee injections do wonders.
Well, on the subject of Hampshire, if you bring him back into the fold just a little bit, his only goal this year is to do what Roxon did, just finish one season for the first time.
Yeah.
And that will be probably the most valuable thing he could do for his career. Robertson, he is essentially, and I used to work with him, and I love his parents to death. I love him. He's a great guy, so I'm not talking shit on him. Unfortunately, Robertson is a perfect example of what's wrong with amateur motocross.
Thank
They
Yep.
wear these kids out. By the time they get there, they're just a piece of chewed up meat, and it's bad. Bandage this, fix this, bandage that, fix this. Oh, well, you're not in the top 5, so you're gone. I don't know why Jalik is getting re-signed, other than he's a good starter, but his results are not warranted of what he's getting.
We
And
could
then
we
you
could
have
throw
Robertson.
some we could throw some things out
I
there
think
about
we all
the
kind of.
league.
I think we all kind of know.
I just started watching Narcos earlier.
cocaine.
Really?
and
What? Really?
cocaine
Wow. Okay.
accessories.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So
Yeah.
that whole team. I mean, if Hampshire stays healthy, I think absolutely he could be up there. Jalik's a great starter. If he could just
About
stay stay off the ground, and then Robertson, if he's coming in as a lame duck, and does he make it the whole season? That would be the question for all 3 of those riders. Really, that's really the takeaway on Husky.
Is Robertson's
Big
deal
question.
Is Robertson's deal up after this year?
Yes.
So he's
That's
off
a lot
the
of
team.
doors open.
So,
to that
yeah, so
program.
They'll
if he
switch him to
doesn't-
gas probably.
Who do they have in the pipeline?
The Husky?
Yeah,
On the
Hawkins-
Husky side, you got
Hawkins and Ferry.
Ferry coming
Hawkins and
up.
Ferry.
yeah, but Ferry's not till he's not next year though. He's a year after, isn't he?
Well, I mean,
No.
look at what they did with Jalik and Jordan
Yeah.
Bailey and all those guys. I mean,
Yeah,
they pulled
yeah.
them up pretty damn quick.
Yeah, they ruined both
See,
of
that's
those kids'
what's wrong
careers.
with the amateur program.
Yeah.
is, these kids are making a shitload of money, and eventually it's like, hey, we've got money invested, and we have a hole. You get shoved up to the pros, and
Plug
sink
this
or
hole
swim
real
that you're
quick.
going to do.
Let's
That's
follow.
it.
They need to follow the way Levi Kitchen did, and I know that'll never happen. They're not going to wait till a kid's 20, but he's a perfect example.
I wonder how much those kids are putting down.
What do you-
Money-wise.
Well, I already told you the whole Jordan Bailey thing, like that was going on at Husky when he was there.
Well, what?
But I don't know about Jalik.
Well, what was? Yeah, I haven't heard the Bailey one. What was he making?
Remember when I told you about the whole certain person was on that team when he was on there, a couple, $300,000.
Oh.
Yeah,
300K.
yeah.
It's wild to me they pay these kids $300K who come in and have
This is per year. Or that's just their first year of the pro contract.
That was the year that said person was on that team, so that was 2018.
We are really tiptoeing around shit here.
I can't. You know that I can't blow this person out. Same way with. I mean, it's
I
different
will
for
in the
coach.
comments. Comment down
It's-
below.
It's
I'll
different
blow
for
it out
coach.
all day fucking
yeah,
long.
it's
I
different
don't
for
care.
coach why he doesn't say things, but for me, I can't say it because I don't want to.
You know that one dude that comments on all our videos is going to comment down below and blow it out too. So
Yeah. Well,
'cause he knows
anyways,
everything.
yeah, let's move on from that.
All right.
yeah.
All right.
all right.
My bad.
So now we
No, it's fine. I just. It's like I said, it's not the same thing for me as it is with coach, but I don't like to talk about that stuff on air just in case.
I'll
'cause I
talk
don't-
about whatever. I don't give a fuck. So Cole.
Jesus.
God. Anyways, you son of
There's
a bitch.
zero filter over here. I don't
Yeah,
give a
we
shit.
know.
I'll say
Yeah.
whatever.
See,
Doesn't matter.
He doesn't
So
care.
hey,
People
before
like
you
him.
before you move on, think about this. Think about how unstable the Husky program is. Jalik, Hampshire, and Robertson. Look at Gas with Pierce Brown and Moseman. And how many guys do we know? I mean, I'm thinking of one, Alex Martin. What would he do on a factory Husky?
Yeah. No shit.
The Husky
Podiums all day
really,
long.
Realistically, Husky, KTM, and Gas should show you everything that is wrong with the amateur program and
Well,
why it needs to fucking change.
We don't know the KTM side though, because this is the first time they've done the 250 thing in a while, and if Volan pans out,
yeah, but
they're
Volan
doing it
was gonna
right. Yeah.
but Volan's one of those that was gonna pan out no matter what.
As long as they don't sign Hayden Deegan, we're all good.
I think you're gonna be surprised.
Who? Go ahead. I don't want to interrupt your train of thought there.
Well, so Deegan was on.
He was with Jace.
Gypsy Tales,
Yeah.
yes, and then the kid got on there too, and the kid made the comment about, hey, yeah, like if we want,
It's like them and Star.
yeah, he's like, we want to get to a factory team, we don't want to do our own thing, which is a little weird to me because they could pull down so much more money.
They
don't
could pull a lot doing
thing.
their own thing.
I just
Like-
don't believe the hype.
Like he could probably make 450 money in 250s with what they're doing. Now at the same time, I understand Dad's building this whole empire around
it's a brand.
these kids and
Yeah.
brands and stuff. And at some point, Dad's like, dude, I don't want to fucking do this anymore. So get your ass where you can get support so I can be done with it, But yeah, so yeah, I think he will probably be one that you'll see on Orange Bike.
I don't think it's gonna work. But anyways,
He's either going to go to Orange Bike or he's going to go to Star.
I just don't think the whole Hayden Deegan thing, as far as racing, is gonna work out.
Results wise,
Yeah, results.
you think,
I think all those
you
stuff.
think
I
he's
think
just been on a silver spoon too much.
I do, and that's nothing against him. I really like Brian Deegan. I think as far as like the way he goes about business, I think he's somebody people
They're
should look
He's
at.
done some smart moves.
geniuses
Yeah,
over there.
yeah. But as far as Hayden Deegan results, like yes, he has won championships, but Evan Ferry also has been whooping on him the last couple times that they raced. And obviously Evan Ferry is going to have a really good career, but like Hayden, everybody's looking at Hayden as like this next big thing, and it's like, well, no, not really. Like he hasn't been racing, and even Casey Cochran was beating him.
Yeah, and you just hit on something that I think people are missing the bigger picture of. Let's go back to Max for just a moment. Who does Max, same team, I said that incorrectly. Think about who's the team manager rather, for Max Volan. Put that guy's name in your head. Who was the last guy that he pulled out from the amateur ranks straight into a pro contract that nobody really trusted?
Goldenrod.
So if you look at Roger DeCoster pulling Dungy out, and everyone's like, who? When he went to Suzuki.
Yep.
And you look at them pulling Max from a 125 to a 250 program, just let that sink in for a while.
Yep.
Which is why I
So
don't
when
think he'll pull Hayden.
And that's why I have to agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
Then he'll go to Star.
No, that's fine.
And here's the reason I say that. I have no inside knowledge of this. I haven't heard anything. No one's talking about this. The monster tie.
Yeah.
That's why I think he goes to Star.
That'd be a better fit for him. I think it would.
Yeah.
I just don't think
he
would-
goes anywhere. There's a monster claw.
I just don't think he would work out at KTM. I just don't. I know that's what he's riding right now, but I just don't think he would work out.
Yeah. So
Well, think about it. The only reason why he's riding for them right now is it's the fastest 85 out of the box.
yep.
Mm-hmm.
There's no. I mean, Team Green's program is essentially falling apart at the seams. Suzuki doesn't exist anymore. Yamaha, they've got. I'm biased because I work with Logan Best and they have them, but even that program, I mean, is Rock River their amateur program? There's a new guy that's out there. He says that he's the new program. I don't know. I don't even talk that business side with the Best family. All I'm saying is, when we say KTM, you go Orange Brigade. When you say Yamaha, you go, I don't know what to do with my hands.
Bob at the back of
Suzuki
his
doesn't
truck.
exist. Yeah. So you put those things together, and I think Deegan's on a KTM right now because it's really the only established amateur 85 program that really has some merit to it.
Yep.
So is that why they're on KTM? Probably so. Does that mean when they go pro, he's going to stay there? I wouldn't think so. And it goes back to what we said at the beginning of the show. You're back to sport energy drinks driving the machine. And I would agree. Peas Monster, you won't see him going to KTM. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
And they are, because they're even doing like the photo shoots and the video shoots. They built like that. I was watching one of his vlogs the other day. The Supercross finish line had
Yeah.
Tomac and Mookie and everybody out there, Sexton. So yeah,
Well, and the daughter on the NASCAR side is a full monster.
Yeah.
sponsored.
Even Huxon, the little brother, has a following.
yeah,
And I don't know how good he is. I don't watch any of the Deegan stuff, but like when a kid on a 65 just jumping on an 85 has a following, like that tells you something about their brand marketing.
yeah.
So-
So, all right, We got 2 more teams here. So Cole, you can pick. You want to talk about green bikes or red bikes first?
I'm gonna go with the giant question mark, the guy that I don't really have any comment for, and that none of us really like, Forkner.
Okay, so we're going to green bikes. So we're going to PC
green bikes
next.
because the other guy on that team I think is gonna surprise some people.
Well,
Okay.
well, there's 2 guys in mind on that team, but anyways.
Well, let's just start with Forkner here. First off, I don't know if he can stay healthy,
Make it through a whole season.
make it through a whole season.
RJ Hampshire.
I
I don't
also
think he
think-
can get through the season without pissing somebody off.
I think he's a fucking head case, to be really honest with you. I really
Dude, it all goes back to the girl. I'm a bit advocate of this.
Bingo.
It all goes back to that chick.
right there.
Here's the thing. If he can stay healthy, we know he has the speed to run up front. It's just, I don't know if he's even healthy. Like, who knows? I don't know. Does anybody really know if he's healthy?
I heard he did an interview with somebody. I listened to it. He's healthy.
I think he is the biggest question mark out of anybody
That's what I
because
mean.
we haven't
Giant
seen him
question
race
mark.
outdoors since 2018.
Yeah.
Like, that's a long time to not see a factory 250 guy ride outdoors.
I don't see him winning. Like maybe some moto here and there. but
I think he'll-
don't see him winning a lot. To be really honest with you.
I think he'll win some motos, but I just don't know because, like I said, we have not seen him race outdoors since 2018.
Right.
And if you remember back to that season, it started off pretty decent and ended terribly. Like, I don't know what his issue was at the end of the season, but it just something was going wrong with him.
I think he's going to be very frustrated because there's going to be a lot of people that are a lot faster than him.
See,
Yeah.
that I disagree with that comment. I don't think that other than Jeremy, I don't think that these other guys are a lot faster than him. I just don't think.
I think they're
no.
fast enough to get in his head.
You don't
Oh,
think the
And
Lawrence
he's like,
brothers
oh,
No.
are
shit, I'm not what
faster
I
than
was. He's going to
Faulkner
ride over his
outdoors?
head.
I think him and the Lawrence brothers on a good day are the same speed outdoors.
Wow, I highly disagree with that. But continue on with your stupid segment here.
But this is my point though. We haven't seen him in a long time, so it's easy to forget how good he was outdoors. You do remember he won as a rookie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he won as a rookie. He's won motos. He's been top 3 in points. Like, it's because he's been gone for so long, and we talk about this all the time. We have very short memories in this industry. It's something that's so very annoying. So we cannot forget that he is. I almost think he's better outdoors than he is Supercross, which is crazy to say. But we forget how good he was his first 3 seasons as an outdoor guy.
I mean, I see your short memory comment, and I battle back at that with he's not rode outdoors for 2 years,
And that's why-
we see this all the time. If a guy is off the bike
Yeah.
because of injuries,
But he was riding outdoors though.
then you're not. Yeah, but there's a big difference between that practice
Of course,
track and that racetrack.
of course,
We talk about that all the
I
time,
completely
too.
agree. But see, that's where it comes into. I don't disagree with where I do believe he can win races, but I don't think it's going to be consistently because he's been away from outdoors for so
Okay,
long.
yep.
But if we're talking speed to speed, I think that Jeremy is the only definitive person that's faster than him. I think that you throw him, the Lawrence brothers, I think they're all the same. I just don't know because, like I said, we have not seen him race an outdoor season. And even in 2018, I don't think he finished every moto.
Yeah.
So I think he's just going to do what he does in Supercross. He's going to be really, really fast, but then he's going to have those moments where you go, what were you doing, dude? Like, what were you doing?
Yeah.
Think about how frustrating it must be to be Forkner right now, because if he had the 2 seasons that we were just talking about that were abysmal, if those were not even like stellar, if those were just consistent, he'd be the absolute shoe-in for Tomac's position to fill
easy.
next to AC all day long.
Easy. I mean,
So
good God.
if you're a moto dad listening to the show, back the fuck off and let your kid grow and build durability and stay in it versus being a super fast splash in the pan. And now Forkner probably is going to miss that 450 opportunity.
Yep. 100%.
It's crazy. Crazy.
Like I said, I don't know where to put him because I don't know how he's going to go about this season. I just don't because, like I said, he has not raced it since 2018. You know, is his cardio going to be there? Once again, we haven't seen him do 35-minute motos in a battle in a long time.
So I'll put it
Yeah.
there. It's not going to surprise me if he wins. It's not going to surprise me if he's on the box at any given point. I think seeing him in the top 5, I think is almost like a guarantee. And
Speed-wise, yes.
And I don't see unless he wads his shit, crashes
Which is
out type deal.
a chance
Which
every time he's on track.
every time he touches a bike is a thing. I don't see him being outside the top 10 really.
No, I don't either because his speed alone, just for that alone,
Yeah.
like he can mail it in even if he's fading,
Yeah.
and get an 8th place.
Yep. Now,
Yep.
next up, does anybody know, Coach? We kind of talked about this before we started recording. Do you have any idea? Is Smith hurt? Is he going to ride Jordan Smith? Do you know anything about him?
I haven't heard a peep, and it's actually, when I think about the entire PC team, he's the only one that I have a question mark beside, because we saw early on in Supercross, he's as fast or faster than anyone else on the team.
Yeah.
But not to beat a redundant horse here, same question mark on J-Mart, same question mark on these guys. We know Smith is fast, but he's very fragile.
Yep.
And he's been that way since he turned pro. So I haven't heard a definitive. While we're talking, let me put a couple text messages out. Let me see if I can get an answer on that.
I love it.
Breaking news on
I
this
love
show
it. Breaking
here.
news.
This is why we like Coach. I'm just kidding. He's a really nice guy. I really like him a lot.
There's a lot more to him than that.
Wow.
Big bag
He
over
just hung
there.
up.
And Coach is off the line. Anyway. Okay. So, all right. Let's go to. So, is McAdoo going to stay off the ground,
No.
or is he going to
No.
Superman wad himself up again and
All
then
the
just
time.
get up and finish the race? And
Whackers is going to whackers.
Whackers is gonna whackers. Oh, that's quality.
I do give him a lot of credit for lining back up. Though.
I do too.
Top 5 guy though, right?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Really?
No. Nope. Nope.
Okay. Cole,
Nope.
you got a comment for that, or how's that phone doing over there?
All right. So
This phone's great.
All right, so hold on before you make a comment, Cole, because I know you're probably going to disagree with me. But let's just go down the line of people that you just said top 5. Okay, so Jet and Hunter, that's 2.
Yep.
Jeremy,
Yep.
Levi Kitchen.
Yep.
He's not faster than R.J. Hampshire. He's not faster than Faulkner.
You don't think he's faster than RJ Hampshire?
No, I don't. When has he proven that he's faster
I
than
put
R.J.?
them on like
Are
the
you talking
same
about
level.
McAdoo?
Yeah.
I put them
I
on the
don't
same level.
Okay, so and there's 2 other guys on the team that I don't think he's faster than either that he's going to beat.
Okay.
Okay, so right there he's automatically out of the top 5 right there.
All right.
And then if we talk about if we think his Thrasher is going to be Nate Thrasher,
So he's
Like-
a top 10 guy?
he's top 10.
All right.
I don't think he's anywhere near top 5. And I don't dislike McAdoo. You know, I do because I talked about him when he went. I like McAdoo. I just he's got to start learning how to ride with his brain a little bit more than his heart.
Well, that's a thing too. That's always a thing.
So anyway, sorry, Cole. Go ahead. What were you doing?
Oh no, that's it. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about
Cole's
McAdoo
half
either.
asleep over here.
Wow,
man.
did you?
You need to take a nap.
You didn't even say anything.
Yeah, I'm just out on McAdoo. Like,
Okay.
I don't really care what he does, honestly.
All right, I'll go so far as to say this. He is the least performing guy on his own team.
I have to disagree with that.
Oh, here it comes.
Oh,
I know
boy.
what I know what.
Yeah, I
path
know what
he's
you're going to
going
do,
down.
and then we're going to get into
Where are we going here?
We're
gonna
going
get
down
into
the
it.
Seth Hamaker path and Epstein Bar.
Look, the guy on the phone is going to agree with me, okay?
I understand that, but I'm a
I don't
Seth
think-
Hamaker believer.
I don't think he makes it through the whole season.
Okay.
He's going to get wore out again.
He's gonna get a flare up.
He had a great Supercross season.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. Great Supercross. Won a race. On the box. Awesome. Cool. Great. Outdoors, he's going to get wore out. He's going to get a flare-up, and he's going to be out by the middle of the season. Coach, back me up on this.
100% agree. And all you got to do is look at the last Supercross race. Hunter Lawrence goes down, gets up, and still comes charging all the way to the front. Unfortunately, it's a different animal when we go outdoors. 35 minutes, 1 hour break, 35 minutes, 16 weekends in a row, a lot of travel grind, hot temperatures. Don't see Hammaker going the distance. I do see McAdoo on the other side. I do see him being a contender. I think he's learned a lot the hard way, knocking his head around. And I think Shimoda's got a lot to prove in regards to he wants to be the big dog on this team and prove to Mitch that he needs to stay there. And I think he'll even go out of his way to try to fight Faulkner. But when it comes to Hammaker, I don't see him being able to go the distance. Epstein Bar is not something that you can run and hide from. And let's face it, when you're racing Supercross, 15 minutes, low ambient air temperature, low humidity, your airport is about 20 minutes from the racetrack. There's just too many things. And if you look at the results, anytime that Seth, with the exception of that first round where he got the whole shot, took off, did really, really well. Most of his podiums were not because he raced into that podium position, but rather people went down. And again, you got to be in it to win it. But when you go outdoors, you can't run and hide in those types of mistakes. Not that he made the mistake. He capitalized on others' mistakes. But you got to remember, we have both coasts running. You've got full teams on the starting gate. I don't don't see that him being a contender. I do see McAdoo being up there, more in the top 10. That's just my personal opinion. I think he's going to learn to settle some things down because he saw that he could settle things down and still be competitive without riding that ragged edge. And going back to like Forkner, it's just a big question mark. If he could just stay on two wheels, I know everybody says it, but this will literally be the year that Forkner either does it and continues to race professionally, or doesn't do it and immediately goes to a second-tier team. It's that much of a linchpin for Forkner. Hammaker's okay. He's got another year on his contract. This will be the first outdoor season that Hammaker's gone through. I see Hammaker being the guy that's just going to try to make it to the end and probably won't be able to do so. And I like the guy. I love the guy, great family. But you can't do it with Epstein-Barr floating around. Not because he's starting a rumor. He posted it at first on Racer X. When you've got it, it doesn't go away. So it'll be interesting to see.
Well, let's just jump right into Joe then. I actually think Joe's going to be the highest performing person on the team.
I do too. And that's just because he's going to consistently top
what I
5
said.
every fucking moto.
You're going to get what he's got every time.
Yep.
I think he's going to be very, very good. And I just don't always think it's going to be because of speed. It's going to be kind of like in Supercross. I think he's just so freaking consistent.
Yeah.
He's, to a lesser extent, he's going to do what Dungey did. He's
I was
just going to.
just about to say that.
He's
He's
going to
gonna
either
Dungey
podium.
the
Yeah.
shit out of him.
He's going to Dungey the hell out of everybody. He's going to be 5th here, 3rd there, 7th there, 4th there, 5th here. He's never really, unless his bike just grenades for some random reason, I don't really see Joe ever having a bad moto outdoors. I just don't. I think that.
I don't either. He's solid, man.
And
He did that last year, too.
And he's so much better on that Cowie. It's
Yeah.
allowed him to move around a little bit more, not be so hunched over.
A little more power.
Yeah, I think that Joe is going to be really, really good, which will be, honestly, a really cool story.
Shimoda!
I think I would not surprise me at all to see him top 3 in the points at the end of the year.
I could, just because of the consistency,
Yeah.
I would not argue that. I don't
don't-
think it's going to be because of wins and stuff like that.
No, I don't
Just
even know
guys
that he wins
having
a moto.
injuries and all that. Yeah.
I don't think he wins a moto.
I don't either.
There's
but
too many other dudes
Yeah.
that have so much speed that it would take all of them having problems at
Yeah.
the same time for him to win a moto. But I do see, yes, I completely agree with you. Consistency, top 5s, all the way right into a podium.
another
on the
contract.
championship.
And
Yep.
another contract, of an actual salary paying contract.
Yeah, his fitness is not going to let him do it.
Yeah.
Wait, his fitness
That-
isn't going to let him do it? So you don't think he's going to be good outdoors? Or
Exactly.
What? Ah,
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Interesting.
talking to some people behind the scenes, he doesn't want to put in the sweat equity off the bike,
Oh, wow.
and it's going to be disappointing because he's had a great Supercross season, and I think he'll start the season strong. But from what I've heard, it's like pulling teeth to get him to do much off the bike. And I think when we go outdoors, I don't think it. We all know it. You cannot run from fitness when we hit outdoors.
Yeah.
And, I love Mookie. He's a fun guy. He's fun to be around. Mookie's a perfect example. You can be out of shape and still win races. You can not win races, but you got a third, But when you're 20 minutes indoors, you're on a factory bike with phenomenal suspension. If you've got timing like Mookie, you can land the backsides of the jumps. You're faster than fast in the whoops. You don't really have to be fit.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, when we go outdoors, when you look at this team, this is where I think Forkner will get the upper hand on the whole team because he's had a couple summers of doing a whole series. He knows what the grind is all about. Jordan Smith, he knows what the grind is about if he comes out healthy. Shimoda, not willing to do the work. Hammaker, being behind the 8 ball with the Epstein-Barr. McAdoo, he knows what needs to be done. Like we said, if he can learn from his crazy-ass antics on Supercross, I think McAdoo may be the one that would be right there nipping at Forkner's consistency when we get to the end of the season.
Well, Coach just made us all look stupid. Never mind. We're all wrong.
No,
I take it all back.
That's why everybody has their own insight, though.
I say
That's why I love it.
completely different opinion, which is good. At least
Great.
we're not just all
Well,
sitting
that's
here
what I'm
jerking
saying.
each other off.
Well, I think Shimoda can come out. He's got a lot. He's on that Supercross high. Like you say, it's a contract year. And we could do this show over again 3 rounds in, and that's when we're really going to see where the dust starts to settle in, because it's okay when everybody's excited to go outdoors. You have the Supercross high going on. Everybody's, but when you get that grind starts to settle in, that's what should have been done 6 months ago isn't done. And now you can't build fitness in the month of June and July. At that point, what you didn't do back in November, December is going to be just it's going to be like a tattoo on the back of your shoulders. You're going to have to wear it. And unfortunately, this is one of the things that I have a disdain with the pro riders when they start getting into these $300,000-$400,000 a year contracts. It is hard as hell to get them to do the work off the bike. What do they rely on? The equipment. That's what makes it very difficult. And by the way, just for somebody who may be new to your show and maybe hearing me for the first time, Handmaker didn't do anything wrong. Okay, you've got to remember, Handmaker is a byproduct of where he's ridden and where he's gone and done things. So it's not that Handmaker, I would say, the antithesis of Shimoda. Handmaker is willing to do all the work to the point that certain people weren't willing to take the time to look at certain indicators. And unfortunately, it put him over that very, very sensitive edge where you have somebody on the other side. And Shimoda may make me look like a fool, and maybe he's not overtrained and comes in and has the perfect summer of the year. We won't really know. That's why I was teasing we could do this show 3 rounds in, and the narrative would be completely different because you're starting to already see the effects of Supercross and now 3 to 4 weeks of outdoors. That's when it's just going to take a shape of its own. I mean, we all know the results of Supercross, but how many guys didn't make the distance in Supercross?
Yeah, exactly.
That attrition rate is crazy, and we're going outdoors.
Gets
which makes
higher
it rougher.
outdoors.
Oh, and we'll know right starting of the 3rd round because there's 3 rounds in a row. It goes from High Point to Southwick to Redbud, and at that time of the year, it's going to be hot for every one of those rounds. So we'll know right away who's in and who's out. So,
yep. All right, final team here, boys.
Biggest hype around any 250 squad.
These fucking Hunter brothers.
Hype Honda.
These Hunter brothers.
These Hunter brothers.
These
on the red Hondas.
These Hunters and Jet Hunters.
They're boy.
Duh, they're gonna have more fun than everybody.
Yeah.
These are my backup picks if J Mart gets hurt. One of these two will win the outdoor title if J Mart gets hurt.
But the thing is which one's gonna be better performing? Because you know which one I'm gonna say.
I don't know, man.
I think I got to take the older brother outdoors.
Hunter Lawrence.
I know I said that the year or two before, but the way his Supercross season went and how different he looked, and more confident he was.
Looks great, and it's a hard argue, but I'm staying with the kid.
Jet still has to prove a lot of stuff outdoors. I know that he coming off that one moto win, everybody blew everybody's wig back, but let's look at how the rest of his season went. He was really good. We knew his speed was there.
Yeah.
But look at how most of his motos went. It was pretty much always the same thing. He kind of dropped anchor at 25 minutes.
Maybe. But we're a new year.
But
new team.
Okay.
Red
New
Bull
year,
helmet.
new juice.
But you
Red Bull gives you wings.
Did you say new juice? Are you
Yeah, probably.
Anyways, but okay, so he got 3 wins.
Yeah.
That's different.
Yep.
But how the rest of his season go in Supercross? Same Jet Lawrence from his rookie year.
Yeah.
Okay. So what makes you think it's going to be different outdoors?
I don't know. I got a feeling.
And that's a great thing. And that's
Jets coming through.
And that's
here,
the great
baby.
thing about doing shows like that. Like Coach has said many times, we all have different opinions. We can all look ahead.
Plus, I heard he's flying at the test track.
But they always say that.
Flying. Multiple seconds faster
Dude,
than 450
I was fucking
dudes.
flying at Ziegler the other day.
Well, I mean, I fly there too, but we ride there a lot.
Oh, you
so
fly there?
I fly there.
Do you?
I'm pretty good.
Okay. Anyway, let's get back to.
I haven't been there this year, but I'm pretty good.
Anyways,
I can ride the A class there.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
He got kicked out.
I literally
It's going
cannot
way
ride the
off the
C
rails.
class because I'm and that's a personal thing, but I can't ride the C class there because I'm
sorry.
too
What?
fast.
Anyways.
Anyway,
Just shit all over his chest, dude.
Anyways. Okay. So you think Jet's gonna?
I'm on the jet train still. Can't get me off that train.
I think they're gonna be. I think they're gonna be really good, man. But I think that Hunter most of the season is gonna outperform Jet. I just really do.
Hunter's going to be really good when we get back over to some East Coast dirt.
Well,
Let me
and
ask
once
you
again,
this.
last time we had Coach on talking about cannibalize it. He's not,
He's not doing that anymore. No.
and that's the thing is what was all the hype around him when he came over here?
Yeah.
Outdoors.
Yes.
What was he doing outdoors? Well, he just proved everybody wrong that he can make it through a Supercross season and do better than even I expected.
Yes.
He's coming in healthy. His diet is good.
How many boobs do you think Jet signs this year for outdoors?
That was real off your topic. That's a
Jesus.
good handoff,
And really, it's a handoff.
I guess.
Anyways, Cole, because you're the only serious one. You're the only serious one at this table next to me anymore.
That was a serious question.
That was that was a stupid question.
That was not a
I bet he signs a lot.
When
to
we
be
have
honest.
Coach on here, you be professional. God dang it.
Coach is wondering the same thing, okay? Coach may be a professional. He's still a dude. He's wondering the same thing.
Anyways.
How many sets of boobs do you think he
All
signs
right.
this year? Answer the question.
55.
69.
69. I like that answer. There we go. Again.
Oh.
Okay, now we
Answer.
get back. Now we can get back to the Moto stuff. So
Oh, my
anyway,
God.
No, I'm still on the Jet train, dude. I think he just has it.
Okay, just a feeling.
Because
Because like I said, the proven part is not there yet.
I mean, Hunter has the bulldog mentality more. Okay, so it's gonna carry him through. But Jet is still young enough. He's got that stupid kid spunk, we'll call it, and so he is going to.
But let's not forget, Hunter still is a kid too. He's only 20.
Yeah, Hunter's not that old, but Hunter's older.
He's older than Jet. Yes,
older enough than Jet. That was terrible English.
Older enough?
Older enough.
Older in
that
age?
It's just, but I don't know, man. I just think that kid spunk of Jet is still going to carry him just slightly better than his brother outdoors.
What do you think, Coach? Oh,
I'm sorry. You think Jet will be better than Hunter?
I do.
that was Travis, by the way.
I have to politely disagree. I think
First off, you don't have to be polite. You
Hey,
can
we
tell me to
finally
fuck
get
off.
another
Well-
tally on this side of the
God, I
table.
love it.
No, but think about it. This is such a cool story because Jet only got the opportunity here in the States because of his brother's prowess at the MXGPs and all of the championships that he did. Now, Hunter, I think, did a better job, and I say better very cautiously, maybe a quicker job of adapting to the American lifestyle, where Hunter, he's a little bit more, he needs to make sure every T is crossed and I is dotted. Where Hunter is a little more systematic, Jet's a little bit renegade, kind of, he's just kind of walking to his own beat. And I think that allowed him to kind of get a little bit of a jump on Hunter. But like what was mentioned earlier, you look at Hunter's, this is the best Supercross season he's had yet. And I think Hunter, no disrespect to the Honda, I think Hunter is getting a little bit more in tune with the Honda. I think the Honda is under his horsepower desires, and he's trying to make it work. But when we go outdoors, that's where Hunter shines. And I think when it comes to the grind of the season, when it comes to the consistency of motos back-to-back with a 1 hour break, I think you're going to see Hunter really shine when it comes to the difference between these two guys. Will Jet be fun to watch? Yes. Will he beat his brother Hunter? No.
God, I love it.
There it is.
I love it.
At the end of the
Signed,
season,
stamped,
we're
sealed.
all coming back
Signed,
on the
stamped,
show.
delivered.
And I'm just,
Who is the title?
I'm getting Jet on too, and he's gonna flip the bird to all three.
You're
of
never
you.
gonna get Jet to go on this
if
show.
we ever get, if Jet ever
How much you
comes on
paying
the
him?
show-
Look,
Okay,
he's
now
not Weege. If we're paying, he's not saying.
It's conversation
all right?
already.
He's just saying.
Okay, anyway,
Anyway,
Hey, we got to dream big though, right?
we can dream big.
hey, whatever, guys. Look, I'll flip you the bird myself. Then
You're
Send
good at
a-
that.
Send a picture to Jet. Be
Yeah,
just fine. All
whatever,
right.
whatever, man.
Hey,
Send him a
no,
donut.
Jet.
You got to think big.
Golden
I
Jet.
never thought we'd have a guy like Coach Robb
I know.
chatting with us.
God.
I was just saying, I made that happen. So here we are.
You guys are awesome. I appreciate it.
He's like, I'm gonna be polite now.
Okay, so championship picks here. Is there any of us that don't think it's J Mart? Does any? Oh boy! Oh, Justin, you raised your hand.
I did.
but kind of like not really, like you're not sure.
It all depends on a shoulder for me.
Hunter's gonna
I
win.
think we have to make a list of injuries and non-injuries. And I know that's lame, but I think if we go with there's going to be injuries, I think you have to come up with a completely different list. Have
Yeah.
to.
I
Because
think.
if we're all in agreement that if J-Mart's healthy, we're all like, yep, he's got it.
Yeah.
And if we're saying he's not, what are we saying?
Yeah, his injury scares me, and I'll just come right out. His injury scares me. So if I had to make a life-changing decision, I would lean toward Hunter.
Hunter's gonna win the championship. Yeah, I'd love to see J Mart do it, but I just because that shoulder.
That shoulder just worries me.
You
So
think Hunter's going to win the championship no matter what, though, right?
well,
That's
this
why
is
you
going
raised
off.
your hand like a little girl.
this
like,
is
"Oh, I
going.
don't know
This
if
is
I
going
wanna-"
off the
Yes.
injury thing.
Look, like Coach just said, like if with the injury thing, but if J Mart is healthy, he's my pick all day long. But because we don't know,
Because of the variables that we have thrown at us, yes, Hunter Lauren.
I think Hunter wins this championship. I do.
I have to agree.
Well, that means with what I just said, I have to go to Jet.
another
then,
tally
right?
for the side.
God,
of the
I
table.
love it. I love
You
it.
Woody Woodpecker looking ass over there.
Woody Woodpecker looking. You've been punched in the mouth for talking too much on a show? It's about to happen.
Look at his hair, dude. He looks like he's on the side of RC's Honda.
Did you just say Woody Woodpecker looking at
You
me?
look
hair
like you're on
probably
the
does
side of
do
Ricky's
it.
Honda, dude.
Oh
the hair
my
probably
God.
does do it.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Hunter wins this championship. I do.
We'll see. I would like to say Hunter too, but then that's going to contradict my Jet saying. I
Not
just
really
went
though,
to.
because you think Jet's going to be better, but that doesn't mean through a entire season. You could mean
Okay.
races.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Then in that case, yeah. Then I'm on the Hunter train too.
Because let's be real.
look at that.
Because let's be real. In all honesty,
I say it was going to be awesome. I just said Jet was going to be better.
in all honesty, let's be real. If you're gonna, even being a Jet fanatic that you are, because
Yes.
I could say you are a Jet fanatic, even if you think he's gonna have better moments than Hunter, if it came down to it and somebody asked you who do you think's gonna crash less, you have
Hunter is going to crash list.
exactly.
Yes.
And that's the thing is we know that you have to make it every round. Where I think if people are picking between Jet and Hunter, they're gonna pick Hunter because let's be real, Jet's gonna be the one that's gonna crash before Hunter.
Yeah.
So I think Hunter wins this championship.
God, it's going to be good to see that Honda back up on the podium.
Yep,
there,
and then it's going away.
yeah. Well, that's the thing too. So, anything else anybody wants to talk about?
Are you doing two lists? Because I've got, if
boy.
there's no injuries, I have J Mart. If there's injuries, I've got Hunter. What says you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
think we're all pretty much on
the
that same
on the money
train.
with us. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
There, you would be hard pressed to
Well,
really point to anybody else other than that at
All
this
right,
point.
then I have a question. Then, since we're kind of in agreement on both things, whether they're hurt or not, we kind of all agree it's probably going to be those three for the most part.
Yeah.
No matter what, who's going to be the guy that could get in there and mix it up?
Nichols.
That's just gonna come out of nowhere.
No. Not even that. Not even that. A guy. If we're talking, those are the three championship contenders. Who is the guy that's could get in there and mix it up and take one of them off?
Nichols.
You think Nichols?
Yep.
What do you think, Cole?
Wow, you're confident. with that.
Athletic.
Who did you
maturity.
Who'd you guys have for the top three? I missed that.
I
had J Mart.
I have J Mart, Hunter, and Jet pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yep.
Okay.
And then I've got Nichols really mixing it up in there.
So that kind of leads to like who's gonna be your biggest surprise, and then who's gonna be your biggest letdown, kind of thing.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Okay. Then in that case,
So are we each doing our predictions first with injuries or no injuries? Just want to make sure I'm on the same page with you.
I
would go no injuries.
I was gonna say I think we all kind of agreed, including you, that with no injuries,
It's J-Mart.
It's J-Mart. With injuries, it's
Hunter.
Hunter.
Are you guys going top three or just overall?
Just overall right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. Go ahead.
Okay.
Just want to make sure I was on the same page. Sorry
Yep.
about that.
Nope, you're okay. And then for biggest surprise of the year here out of everyone, dude, I'm going with Max Volan.
Okay.
I think he's
Sold,
gonna,
huh?
I think he's going to surprise a lot of people outdoors here. Yep.
You go. I got to think about this one a little bit.
Coach,
Well,
who
I
you-
don't think you can go. I don't think you can go with anyone but Volan because we've seen everybody else race.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
You know, he's the only unknown because none of us would be surprised if Jet got on a rampage, Hunter got on a rampage, hell, even if Hampshire got on a rampage, none of us would be surprised.
Yep.
But I do think the guy that'll consistently shake it up will be Nichols as well. I would have to agree. I think when we get on the surprise side, I would have to concur with Volan because I just think he's going to be fun as heck to watch. I think he's going to be a blast.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, go ahead, Coach.
Pardon me, I was just going to say it'd either be Volan or Jet because Jet's either going to be like spectacular winning or spectacular yard guarding himself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's your two guys to watch. Really, is going to be Volan and Jet.
I think that the guy that's going to be to my first question that's going to get in there and mix it up with Hunter, Jet, and J Mart that could maybe take one of them off. Man, I honestly I think it's RJ. I do because
Really?
I do. I really do, and I know that.
Legit.
I think that kind of goes against my 5 to 8 comment, but he's the only guy that I could look at that speed wise on a good day, take J Mart off of it, so Jet and Hunter that is with those guys. Now, as far as surprise, I think that Coach is correct that the Volan because he's really the only. But I would have to stay with who I've been picking the entire time, and I think that's Levi Kitchen. Solely because like he is a rookie, just like Voland is. I know that there's more information, I guess, around him, even though he hasn't raced technically a pro race yet.
Yeah.
But because all the hype he's been getting, but it's got to be one of those two. But yeah, I don't know. I think this season because there's so many people coming in hurt, we don't really know where everybody's going to be.
Yeah.
Which is why I still believe that if Kitchen comes out and wins the first round, or even if Volan is out there leading for 25, 30 minutes or whatever, and then whatever happens, it's not going to surprise me. But
Nope.
who do you think?
I'm going to have to go with, I think Kitchen will be the biggest surprise to people.
Okay.
I just really like his riding style. Just seems really efficient to me.
Yep.
It reminds me a lot of AP, standing up a lot and using his legs.
Yep.
And he looks a lot like Aaron does on the bike.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I think he's going to live up to this kind of hype that he's built.
Believe the hype.
Yeah. So, and I think the other thing, too, is he does have that maturity around him. Being a little older age, I think he can connect the dots a little better to maybe
Grown-ass
what
man.
Will Hahn tells him or whoever's in his corner is like, hey, you're going to see this, this, and this happen, and then you're going to do this, this, and this to react to it on and off the track. And I think he'll be able to have the mental capacity to understand that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, and I guess the last question then, biggest disappointment for the season here going into outdoors.
Justin Cooper.
See, I was going to say that, but then Coach is making me second-guess Shimoda here, so I guess I'm going to go with Joe here because apparently it sounds like he's not going to do what we thought he was going to do, so that's going to be a big letdown there, going from what he had in Supercross, which was a pretty decent season, to all of a sudden if he just sucking ass here in outdoors, well, then that's gonna be a downturn there.
Well, and it'll be interesting too, because the people that I spoke with, that carried Joe through December, almost through the end of January. So, if you look at February, March, and now we're into April, going racing in May, that does give you 12 weeks. He may have proven me wrong by maybe getting his priorities in line. I'd love to have to eat my words on it because I love his story. I think it'd be great to see him become the new hot commodity for all the reasons. First Japanese rider to really do. He's already set his name in the record books with his first win, but
Yep.
I just think he's a cool story all the way around. I like the way that Mitch gave him a ride. I'm a big fan of Mitch Payton. I like the way he gives people opportunities. I love his loyalty to the riders. Whether it's saying that he was going to provide a 450 ride, and then he did, even if it was on his own dime, 100%. I think Joe and Mitch, that would be a very cool story. And if there's anything I'd like to eat crow on, that would be one of them, for sure.
I think Justin Cooper's going to be the biggest letdown.
Okay. Go
That's
around.
my tune. That's mine as well.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Although I'm surprised, though, that we didn't mention Garrett Marchbanks as far as, doing well.
He's just
He
kind
just-
of deflated
I would
right
say
now.
I think he's just going to be a guy there. I don't see him, being super high or super low.
I mean, he was just kind of a guy indoors,
Yeah.
too. He
Yeah.
had that one good round in the first.
I would give anything if Husky would give Marchbanks a ride. I think he would take that opportunity and just take it to the stratosphere.
Oh, well, whatever happens with Robertson and whenever they decide to kick Jalika off the team, I think that Garrett should be the first person they call. But who knows? If he goes out and kills it this season, who knows if he ever wants to go back to a quote-unquote factory
corporate team, I
Look,
guess.
Yeah,
I'll
and stay
just
with
say
club.
this. I just think they're too stupid to fucking do that. Okay?
Husky?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, they're very
too fucking dumb.
They're
'cause
very
they just
I
wanna
don't know.
bring
I
the
think there's
next
going to
kid
be a
in.
steel-framed bike waiting for somebody within the next year.
gas.
I hope so.
Gas.
We can get rid of both those dudes.
See, here's probably what's
Drop
gonna,
them both.
Here, hey, see, this is how I feel like we're shitting on KTM North America and so on and so forth.
Well, it's
but here,
fine.
this is how stupid this whole situation would be. You'd get rid of Brown and Mosman, and you kick Jalik and Styles off Husky team, and then put them over on the gas team. That's how dumb.
Totally agree.
That's
They
how
probably
dumb.
Totally
would.
agree.
And then Alex Martin would probably podium overall outdoors, and they won't give him a shot.
Yeah.
Oh, I guarantee it. I don't know. I feel that that's how dumb that situation would go.
Justin, we got to start team.
And then I'm on board.
That's all we got to do.
We got to find some money.
Yeah, we do. We got to
Well,
find
when you start looking at those, when you look at those two teams, and I'll stand my ground on this with just about anybody, you can't help but wonder, is there not a grandma or grandpa or somebody that's paying for these kids to be on this team? Because these results on these riders on these two teams don't add up.
Yeah. Just doesn't.
Something doesn't add up.
Well, we can almost probably guarantee that the Swole thing, and like I said, the Bailey thing, and I don't know about.
Cocaine and
I don't know about.
cocaine
I don't know about.
accessories.
Oh God, I don't know about Robertson. Yeah. I mean, I think that's got to be something. I don't know. I just feel like how.
Well, you got to remember though, the Robertson thing goes back to when he was amateur. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
But the re-signing of Jalik, Hampshire makes sense because he's kicked ass. I mean, other than, yard darting himself, and I love RJ. He's a great dude. He's badass on a bike. I can see Hampshire earning that. I can see Roberts, unfortunately, he's on the end of that 3-year deal because, he was the big deal at Cowley.
Oh, yeah. And
then they started putting all their money into Jet and Ryder D. So he's like, I'm out, So I think the Robertson thing would be the tail end of that 2-year amateur, 1-year pro deal. I get that, but outside of this year, I can't see Robertson being re-signed. If Moseman and Pierce Brown are re-signed, I mean, I guess you could say Moseman, but again, these guys are faster than I ever will be. But Moseman didn't set the world ablaze in Supercross, and let's face it, it wasn't even a full field of 20 bikes on the coast.
Yeah.
Give John Short that ride.
Yeah.
Think about it though. If you gave Short, and then like you said, you gave Marchbanks, and you get, because we're looking at 5 rides here: Jalik, Hampshire, Robertson, Moseman, and Brown.
Yep.
If you keep Hampshire because he deserves it, if you take those other 4 spots as you mentioned, Amart, John, and then throw Marchbanks in there, what kind of racing would the Husky Gasket? But of course, you got to remember, they'd actually have to pay the riders instead of getting paid to keep the riders.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Yep.
Big difference.
Yep.
So that's a shame, but it's the reality we're dealing with.
All right, boys. We've been at this for 2.5 hours, 3 if you count our little pre-talk before the show.
Love it.
Good
Love it.
stuff.
Wish we got paid to do this.
That'd be great, but we're working on it. So
We're going to get there.
all right,
We're
Coach.
working on it.
Thank you for coming on. We appreciate
My
it.
pleasure.
Yep. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
Boys, thanks for coming in studio here. Appreciate it. Cole, maybe next time take a nap before you show up.
450 shows next week, right?
450 show is next week.
Okay.
Yes. So
Awesome.
Coach, you're more than welcome on that show too if you want to. If you don't have time,
I
or
feel like
whatever,
that
we
show's going to get
understand, too.
real fucking
I
heated.
think, well, that'll be good. Chris will be on?
no, he's not coming for the Paula.
He's coming for the Paula 1 wrap up.
Okay.
I can just tell you
Yeah,
right
You
now.
and I
be
are
on
going
the
to get
show.
off since we're coworkers now.
What's that, Coach? Oh, hold on. What did you say?
Yeah, I just said be more than happy to be on. I appreciate the opportunity for sure.
I
Cool.
can just tell you right now, Coach. If you for sure come on, that show's going to get real fucking heated between me and Travis.
Yeah, me and Justin will be yelling at each other.
the 250 is a little bit tame, but the 450 show, oh buddy, we're getting
450s, we get a little heated.
we get fucking heated.
You can watch the video. Justin's face gets red. He starts spitting. I just keep antagonizing and poking the bear.
Yep.
It's
I
awesome.
love it.
It's
Yeah,
awesome.
let's do it.
Awesome.
Yeah, let's
So-
do it.
All right.
Love it.
Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks to our sponsors here again: BC.Pizza, TLR Coatings, Premier Custom Trailers, JT Cycle, and the Dirt Bike Deep. That list is getting long.
It is.
God, it is. We're getting real
Now
long.
we need a sushi company.
Yeah, there we go. So thanks for tuning in. Make sure to check out all our sponsors down below. Follow us on all the major social media. Cole, one thing I forgot: we have not done a fantasy Supercross wrap-up show yet.
Right, you guys dropping
Finish
ball.
off the season. I've been busy. We need to do a little.
Cole
one.
ain't into it because he got beat up on, I guess, right?
Kind of. I mean, I started sending it at the end of the year. I had a terrible season, but
Well, we
outdoors,
need
I'm
to
gonna
do one of
try
those.
to figure shit out.
We need to do one of those this week too. So make sure to check out the fantasy show. Make sure to if you want to support us, all sorts of links in the description down below to do that. As I said, this is our 250 outdoor preview show. We will be back next week with our 450 outdoor preview show, and then I believe we're going to have 1 week where we have a show that is we're going to try to get some guys on to talk outdoors, like rider wise, and then we'll be right into this. So
Hubbalicious, maybe.
Love it.
yes.
Yeah, I actually got a local guy. He's not gonna make any nationals by any means.
Oh boy.
Who?
His name's Kale
Kale Kuchanik?
Kuchinki
Kuchinki?
or whatever. But he has a
Kuchinkin?
really interesting story. So he works for an insurance company, but he does IT for them on the back end.
Oh.
So he got Wi-Fi hooked up in the van. He's
Sick.
gonna park on the side of the road, work, get in the car, and then keep driving.
Love it.
But last year, this man's van broke down out in California, so he went to the dealership, bought a brand new one, transferred all the bikes and everything over, and he was able to, because, I mean, at this time, you didn't have to work
Yeah.
from home and all the mobile working and stuff. So he actually had to be in the office for a certain amount of time. So he scheduled his vacation time, made it all work. In one round, he left the van in Colorado, drove to the Colorado airport, left the van in economy parking with all the bikes in it, flew home,
Sketchy.
worked the whole week, flew back, and then drove to Colorado and
Wow.
raced. Yeah.
We should just talk about him just because of his hair.
Well,
And he's got some wild hair, but man, like that's
hey,
like
we'll work on it.
no
We'll get him on.
disrespect to Kale at all, but him making a national is going to be tough,
He's in 450, right?
or 250, but
Yeah.
making the show is going to be very tough for him. But that dedication to make every round
Well,
like that is pretty insane.
Just to get people's
So
privateer
cool.
stories. Just get them
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a big deal.
So
I think that's an awesome
well, that's
story.
cool. Yeah, we can try to get him on too. So, all right. So, yeah. So, like I said, 450 Outdoor Show coming up next week. Outdoor preview with a bunch of riders the week after. Then we're jumping right into this. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll be back next week. See ya.
Later.